All right. I made it just in time. Just in time. Stop the watch. Stop the clock right now. Stop the clock. It says 7:01, but it depends on... I hit go live at 7:00. I guess 8 p.m. EST. And that's what really counts. All right, we got it. All right. So we're on time. We're on time. We made it. We made it. We're good. We're good. We're good. I think it lagged for you guys. I think the 1 minute lag is on your guys' end, and I can't do anything about that. All right, all right, all right. I'll put a point. I'll put a point. I'll put a point. I'll put a point. Let me put the point. Here we go. Here we go. Well, if we're doing that, hold on. Then let me take a second. Let me do all the things I was gonna do when I was racing to get to the stream started on time. First I gotta message my editor real quick. The video that's coming tomorrow, very, very, very good video. Very, very, very good video, if I do say so myself. Let me see this. Let me give my editor one last instruction here real quick. Let's go. Hold on. 1 second. Hold on, everybody. Hold on, everyone. Okay, and apparently I'm missing an image. What the fuck? Let's see. Hold on, hold on. This is what happens. Because now I got to do the things that I would be doing otherwise. You know what I'm saying? If I just wasn't here on time. It says an image is missing. I personally doubt an image is missing, but let's humor my editor and see. Let's just see. Let's just see. Let's just see. He's probably right. I probably did forget to upload the image. Shit, did I just not do it? No, I did it. I did it. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, everybody, how are we doing? How are we doing right now? How are we doing? You guys excited? Huh? You guys excited? We're going to be doing a pretty important stream today. Oh my god. The haircut's coming too, by the way, and I might be abandoning the long hair look. Long hair Morj might be about to die. Long hair Morj might be about to die. It might be over. It might be over. I think I've come to terms with the simple fact that my hair is not meant to be long. I'm not meant to have long hair. Because I have curly hair. My hair's too curly to be this long. Here, let me add the late penalty as well. Let me close everything that's video related. Is this shit video related? I don't even know what this shit is. Yeah. Tomorrow's video is not 40 minutes. It's not 40 minutes. It's been trimmed down. It didn't need to be 40 minutes. All right, so it's tighter. It's tighter. Tomorrow's video, however, is still a very, very long video. It's still 30-something. I need a fade. I don't know about that. Mukete says, long hair Morj never lived. You always cut it anyway. To me, this is long hair Morj. To me, this is long hair Morj. Tie your hair up, Morj? Nah, I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can pull off that look. That's long hair? Yeah, it's long. It's not like crazy long hair, but it's, you know, it's generally pretty long. If you compare to... I think this is just about the... You gotta get the Usopp cut, let it grow past the phase you hate. Usopp got to go through... First of all, what do you mean the Usopp cut? The Usopp cut is terrible. I don't think anybody looks at Usopp in One Piece and is like, oh yeah, that's like the fucking Cavendish of One Piece, right? No, he's the fucking Usopp of One Piece. The only woman that's ever fallen for Usopp is the girl that he Stockholm syndromed. Because she was sick on her island by herself. I just don't think that the Usopp cut is supposed to be the most attractive look, you know what I'm saying? I just want my hair to look, you know, normal. Awaken curl fruit. What was I looking up just now? I was looking up something. I was looking up something. Now my mind. Oh, I was looking up the late penalties. Yeah, I was looking up things for you guys. Everything I do is for you all. That's not true, but you know. Here we go. Got too many tabs. I don't need all these tabs. Who needs all these tabs? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Now we're cooking. Get a low taper. Get a fade. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Imagine Morj with dreads. I don't know if I could. Nah, dread. You need longer hair for dreads, right? AMV Society says, I love you, man, but that's a homeless man cut. Yeah, it's just the way it is right now. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. All right. What was I doing? Late penalties. Let's find these late penalties. Okay. Here we go. All right. Anything else here? This is all good. This is good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So looking at late penalties right now, we are going to raise the point total by 1 point. Just 1 point, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Morj should do a slick back. I do actually look good with my hair slicked back, but I don't like putting product in my hair. Product that stays in. So there's just no real, because then you got to get it out. I don't like that. Gobble D Snuts, thanks for the 5. Luca to LA, Spurs pair Wemby with Fox. Thoughts? Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I know that a lot of people get upset any time I talk NBA. I'm just going to make this post right now. From 9 p.m. onwards, we're talking basketball. From 10 p.m. EST. From 10 p.m. EST, we are talking NBA Luka trade. It's too big. It's too big. It's too big not to talk about. Too big to not be talked about. Is the Wano defense video the one that you guys are trying to aim for right now? Is that what the goal is? I don't know what you guys' goal is here. All right, let's get the stream likes up. Let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick. Yeah, this is the one time I think most people, even if you don't know much about basketball, you probably got, the news probably came across one of your social media feeds. That's how big this is. We need to talk about that. All right. Topic time. I got hot takes, says Jordan Vance. Okay, so the way we're going to do this, because I don't think there's already a tier list for greatest One Piece chapters, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to do a bunch of nominees, and I'll snip them in real time to just get our collection together. And from there, we're going to make our tier list. So I can get it going. Give me a second. Let me check if there's already an existing tier list for One Piece best chapters, but I doubt it. Best One Piece chapters. One Piece chapters. I don't know if there's a all-time One Piece chapters. There's 2023. There's chapters per year, but there's not an all-time One Piece chapters thing that I'm seeing. Let me see this one. Oh, this is interesting. Oh shit. Yeah, somebody went pretty in depth. Look at this. This is a bit too much. We can't be doing all this. Hold on. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. What's going on? All right. Look at this. I think someone did all the chapters pretty much. That's too much. What did they go till? Oh, they stopped here. They got tired of One Piece, it looks like, in Punk Hazard. Okay. So we're not going to do it like this. What we'll just do is basically go through, because we don't need every chapter on the list, right? I think we'll keep it a little bit tight. So I'm just going to start snipping chapters as we talk and get through some early questions. And we'll just assemble our roster of chapters. I feel like something along the lines of maybe 50 chapters might be good. 50 chapters might be good. We get a few solid rows. But we're not trying to include everything. Jolly D. Joe Star, thanks for the 2. Late penalty, play game on stream. So I've thought about actually I don't know if I'd want to play a game. I could do One Piece Odyssey or something as a stream idea. Yeah, I can do that. That's a fun idea. I can do that. I've thought about doing One Piece Odyssey as a stream idea, so this would give me like a little excuse to do it. I don't like playing games that aren't, I don't know. Like, I'm not a person who wants to play a game just for the sake of trying out games, because it's just, I don't know. But if it's for a late penalty, I could do it. I could do it for a late penalty. And then maybe I like One Piece Odyssey or something, and then maybe I keep playing it. Who knows? All right. One Piece Odyssey, where are we putting that? How much do I not want it? That's how the late penalty system goes. How much do I not want to do this? Upload whenever it's within 6 months. Make an indefensive Wano video if I can upload whenever it's within 6 months. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll do play game on stream. I should have. Am I allowed to reorder the points? Am I allowed to swap around points? Because I would lower waifu. I would make waifu stream less points now. I would make it less points, and I'd jack up the indefensive Wano video points. Play game on stream. I'm down to do it. I just have to fucking. Maybe I'll play a game I already own. I think that's easier. I could play a game I already own. Because how much is One Piece Odyssey? Is One Piece Odyssey free by any chance? Is there any chance One Piece Odyssey is free? One Piece Odyssey cost. If it's a $70 game, I'm not getting it. Oh my god. What the fuck? Oh, okay. It's... Oh, no. One Piece Odyssey cost on Steam. $60 for One Piece Odyssey? What the fuck? This is a $60 game? That's a joke. No, I'll just play some game that I already own. I'll play like Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3 or something like that. Yeah, how about that? I'm not going to play fucking $60 for One Piece Odyssey. That's insane. Who do they think I am? Wisdom Minari, thanks for the 5. I can put it on, but it will be a game that you guys won't really care to see me play. I mean, maybe you guys will have fun. I did a Sekiro stream once, and you guys had fun watching that. TomTom says it sucks, don't play it. Yeah, I don't want to play a game that, like, I'm maybe not going to enjoy that much, you know? I'll say play a game on stream. How about that? Play... What the fuck? Play... Is my computer making fun of me? What's it doing? Play a game on stream. Oh, this is... Oh, I see. This is 150. Am I missing something? I'm gonna make it lower than make an indefensive Wano video. Play a game on stream. No, let's just make this the 150 tier. We'll make this the 150 tier. Viewers' choice if it's a cheap game. Yeah, like I'm down to play a game you guys make me play if it's a... Yeah, but I'm not going to drop like 70 for it. Unless you guys fund it or something. Like if you guys... if someone just drops literally the... YouTube takes a cut too. So if someone just drops like 100 super and it's just like play this game, I would purchase it for that. That'd be fine. Anyway, continuing on. Wisdom Minari, thanks for 5. Yayo. Morj should wrap the 4Kids One Piece opening as a penalty. I mean, I could do it, but it would be like with no enthusiasm. I could do it right now. I could show you. Here's how I would do it. Nah, I should make it a penalty. I should make it a penalty that people have to work to get to. But I'm gonna do it with no enthusiasm. Morj, very excited about Tuesday's video. I'm excited about Tuesday's video too, because right now it's in the marinating stage, because it's off my hands at the moment. My editor will text me probably from time to time telling me he's missing stuff if I have not uploaded certain images. I guess we're good here at the moment. Yeah, and so hopefully by the time stream's done, I'll be able to turn off stream and then watch this video. So I'm excited too. Would Oars be bros with Loki? Would Oars be bros with Loki? I I don't think we even know Orz's personality is the problem. We literally don't know what he was like because we just saw his personality was Luffy's personality, right? Eddie Herrera says, Morj, thoughts on Luka trade? No NBA talk till after 10 p.m. EST, just to keep it nice and clean for the One Piece fans here. Have I played Elden Ring yet? No. If I play Elden Ring, I will lose so much time. I'll be so... You will never get the Wano analysis if I start playing Elden Ring. How about that? Like, if you want me to play Elden Ring, I'll play Elden Ring. But then I'm allowed to not put out the Wano analysis till I finish Elden Ring. It's Elden Ring's too much time. Too much of a time commitment. But I really, really want to play it. Fodder for Hire, thanks for the 10. Morj no me. Had a thought of devil fruit being born from the spores of the tree in the mural. The spores contaminated the atmosphere, making it possible for desires to take physical forms as devil fruits. Thoughts? I have a lot of thoughts on those little energy balls that you're talking about as well. However, my thoughts are different than... I think I have slightly different thoughts than you're thinking. So, yeah, just wait and see. I do think that those little things that we're seeing are tied to... what makes the devil fruits work and everything like that. So it's somewhat similar. New game. I'll say, okay, unless a game... Yeah. Viewer's choice of a cheap game. I guess unless people literally want to crowdsource me to force me to play a game. Unless people want to... crowdsource to force me to play a game. I refuse to play certain games. I'm not going to play Elden Ring. I would just waste too much time. Too much time would be wasted. Unless you're okay with me just not putting out the Wano analysis. Zolden, thanks for the 2. I'm earlier in the stream, but how's Mob? Oh, I have not started Season 3 yet. So actually, interestingly, because... my girlfriend watched me watch Mob in bits and pieces, and then she was intrigued enough that she started watching Mob, so then she caught up. So we kind of just agreed that, like, for Season 3, we'll just watch it together, because now we're both caught up on Mob. But we were out this whole weekend on a little mini trip, so we didn't get time. So hopefully this week we'll get time to just watch Mob. The funny debate is that she likes dub though. She likes dub, but Mob has a good dub. But it seems like I'll be watching. We'll see what happens. It's possible I'll watch it in dub. Normally I wouldn't watch things in dub, but Mob Psycho does have a good dub. Let's get the stream likes up to 100 real quick. Okay, I should start trimming some of these chapters. Okay, so here's the way it's gonna work. Let me make sure everything's set up. Real quick. Don't want you guys to see spoilers for the next video. That's for sure. Let's see. Hold on. Let's make a new folder. Best OP chapters. Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. So, here's how it's going to work. Here's the way it's going to be working. All right. We are going to be going through, and we're just going to do a Manifest Joseph's Mob dub is great. Yeah. Right now, basically what we're going to be doing is just going through and picking out what we consider to be some of the best chapters, and then we will put it all into a tier list and rank the best chapters of all time. Do you guys want tier list or straight up ranking? For best chapter of all time, do you want tier list or straight up ranking? So tier list is, you guys know tier list, obviously. Tier list, not everything is like perfectly in order. Usually sometimes we'll order the top tier. I think for this we would order the top 10. But then beyond that, things are, you know, just ballpark, like, what are we saying? Or do we want to do, like, actual top... If we're doing a ranking, what do we do? Top 50, top 40? Something like that. Tier list is generally easier. The tricky thing with this is that there would, like, we would do like S, A, B, C tier, etc. But there's not really any, like, it's the best chapters of One Piece, so it's hard to do it in tiers like that in the first place. Okay. Akash Panda, thanks for the 5. An angry Earth God used a Hellfire Serpent to cover the world in death and darkness after humans touching a forbidden flame lying inside Earth. Meaning, humans mined the OG Mother Flame from underground, leading to volcanic eruptions, destroying the first world, and maybe forming the Red Line. That's an interesting idea. That's definitely an interesting idea. I could definitely see volcanic eruptions being the source of this stuff. It would add significance to Akainu in the story. Kosh Bandit, thanks for the 2. Sea God Rage at the end of the Second World is the flooding. Yep, definitely agree. Barjinder Singh, thanks a lot. Morj, I have a theory that the dragon that Rima killed is the future incarnation of the dragon we see in the First World mural. I don't think that dragon is that significant. That dragon was kind of a bum, if we're being honest. It's an interesting idea. I definitely am of the opinion that the gods that are talked about are generally not real gods, because it's just more consistent with the idea of it being a religious text and the giants interpreting things. It's more consistent with the ideas we've seen from things like Skypeia, what we already know of how the giants interpret things like that, and the general themes of One Piece. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 100 because we're almost there. We are almost there. Okay, looks like we're doing straight up ranking. I'm down to do a straight up ranking, but in that case, we're not going to be doing a poll for every little thing. It's going to be pretty... that also makes things a lot easier. But it's going to be pretty... how do I say this? It's going to be... We're not going to be doing a poll for every single thing. That's all I can say. All right, so it's going to be... I'm going to be making a lot of the decisions here. But some things we'll put up to poll. All right, so this will be... Okay, this is... All right, straight up ranking. All right, I wasn't ready for this. I'll be honest, I wasn't ready for this. If we're doing a straight up ranking, then this is going to get contentious. We will... Well, it'll be a mix of my decision-making and popular demand. Let's say that. Mix of my... That also makes it a lot easier. I don't have to snip a bunch of things. Let me change one thing real quick. I'm going to delete a folder. If I don't have to snip a bunch of things, I can clear up this desktop space real quick. Yeah. Getting rid of this folder. Okay. All right, let me make a little spreadsheet for y'all. We're going spreadsheet route this time. Spreadsheet is generally very manageable, so it's nice. All right. Akash Panda, thanks for... Oh, wait. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah. Akash Panda, thanks for the 5-man. Sun has second meaning of freedom. Man killed sun and became God. Sun only spread war. Freedom comes with conflict. Emu holding the sun in his hand. So with this, I don't know if the sun part, that's the tricky thing. My interpretation is that the sun, there is something to that. I think that there is something actual that that was touched there, or mankind claimed there. I think that there is something that has been lost from this world. Reason being a lot of the things that we learned about in Egghead Island, as well as, how do I say this? The sun, it seems as though there's some literal things that are needed to bring about the dawn of the world. And again, just a lot of it, watch the video, but a lot of it goes back to Egghead. I'm definitely agree with you that a lot of the god things are not literal. I think the sun might be the thing that actually is literal in this case. So we're going to wait and see. Here we go. Let me make sure that... yeah. Okay. Best One Piece chapters of all time. Let's go. All right, here we go. Here we go. So, to be clear, we're going to be doing, I think let's do a top 30. I think a top 30 is nice and tight. Let's do a top 30. We're doing a top 30. That'll get almost... Yeah. That almost fits in the screen as well. I like that. Top 30, but of writing quality. BFJ97, thanks for the 10. Hello, Mr. Lorge. Do you think the Strats will disband after the final war, or will they stay together and go on adventures forever? Can't wait for tomorrow's video. I am of the opinion that they will disband. I think that Oda's kind of set everything up for the Strats to each have a place that they can go to after everything is said and done. And one thing that somebody brought up that I think was a really good point, you all know how much I hate the whole Robin situation with Saul. Not Robin's situation in general, but the whole Saul situation. You all know how I hate it. I hate it with a passion. But somebody made a good point, which is that like one of Oda's reasons for doing that may have simply been so that Robin has somebody, someplace that she can go back to, that she could call home after everything is said and done, because all the other Strats have something like that. My thought is she should just go with Frankie. I think Oda set up enough Robin Frankie stuff that it's perfectly... There's no question of where she could just naturally end up. But that's just my opinion. I do think Oda set things up nicely. That like the thing with the Strats is that in general, while they're all down for this adventure and they're all really enjoying the adventure, it's never been implied that any of them are like lifelong adventurers like Luffy. And even Luffy's story, it seems as though there's a definitive endpoint that exists for it, right? So they are all in it specifically to make Luffy the Pirate King. And I think that's the beauty of it, because a lot of them just wouldn't even be doing this shit, right? They're in it to make Luffy Pirate King and achieve their own dreams, but it's not really implied that like they just want this to be endless for any of them. Mahavan Sadegi says, you delayed Wano a lot. You must do a Dadan cosplay. No, I'm not doing a fucking Dadan cosplay. All right. Andrew says, Morj a Frobin shipper? I'm not a Frobin shipper. Oda's a Frobin shipper. I just read the story. I just read the story, man. I just take what I'm given. Anyway. Eric Joe says, any slobby probably takes 3 out of 5 of the top 5. Lol. For me, yeah, I think so. Alright, let's get going. I don't know about 3 out of the 5 of the top. I think it's close. I think it's close for me. Alright. Let's go. Why am I on the late penalties? Late penalties we'll vote on partway through the stream. Somebody give me a reminder. Curly hair is perfect for the Don cosplay. I'm trying to cut this hair. You're not listening. I'm trying to cut this hair. Caleb Cool Guy, thanks a lot for being a Yawn Coach here, member for 21 months, man. The most recent chapter has got to be top 10 for me. Hearing everyone's interpretation of the different worlds is sick and is indicative of Oda's writing skill. I think that the current chapter is very, very, very difficult to place. It is by far the most revelatory lore chapter that we've ever had in One Piece, and probably is going to go down as like the single shining panel that gets posted very frequently of One Piece to just show like, look at how dense this story is and this world is and the lore is, right? I think like this is why you should get in this. It almost might go down as a panel that's kind of like, this is why you should get into the series. You know what I mean? Like if you think like this story gets way bigger than you could possibly imagine. I think the panel is just the easiest way to encapsulate that. I think there's other panels that do get that across as well. Like if you look at, you know, Doflamingo's speech or something like that. I'm not going to pull up every panel, but if you just wanted to show somebody who's starting One Piece at the beginning, that's kind of like, what's like, why should I get into this or something? Like, is the story actually going to keep building? I think this panel just simply displays for everybody, like any blind reader, that like, yeah, there's a shit ton of stuff going on here. In this panel, there's not a single wasted drawing, I guess. Like every single thing, from the samurai to the fucking animals to the fucking I don't know about the fish. I guess fish represent sea kings or some shit. But like pretty much everything here, to the fucking ship here, to the thing here, to the shit people are carrying around. Everything has meaning. So I think this panel will go down as a legendary One Piece panel. I don't want to be too reactionary. I talked about this last stream, but the only thing I would say about this chapter, in terms of like, before we jump to saying like it's an all-time whatever chapter, is that in general, out of all out of everything in One Piece, like in terms of like how good was this arc, how good was this chapter, how good was this scene, etc. I think the thing that depreciates in value the most over time tends to be lore-based things, because lore-based things are ultimately information, right? So they're ultimately information. It's being inundated with so much information that's exciting. This isn't, I mean, the presentation's really cool and everything as well. But Oda could have dropped this scene at pretty much any point, and it has pretty much the same effect, right? So it's not as associated with like an emotional storytelling beat, you know? So with information, as said information becomes just more commonplace and accepted in the story, I think lore tends to go down in terms of weight overall as as a chapter. And some simple comparisons I would give are like, I imagine when this chapter came out, right? I'm screen sharing right now, right? So I imagine when this chapter came out, way back when, this Ohara chapter, with Clover explaining all of this crazy lore. Like this was probably the first, I would say, I think 395 is the first truly insane lore drop chapter in One Piece. It is a full chapter dedicated to insane lore that basically reveals how significant history is in One Piece in general, right? This is the first chapter that does that. This chapter, and then I suppose, I'd say this is the first chapter in One Piece that really, really does that. It's a full dedicated chapter. I imagine when this chapter first came out, it was considered one of the best One Piece chapters of all time, period, right? I imagine when this chapter first came out. In retrospect, like, it's still a good chapter. It's still a significant chapter, but I don't think anybody's going to be listing this as, like, one of the best One Piece chapters, right? Similarly, I remember when we got to Zou, more big lore drops, right? When we got to Zou, we had stuff like, in here, this was a huge revelatory chapter as well. Like, so much stuff about Laugh Tale, the road poneglyphs, it's held by Kaido and Big Mom, so many things click together. The Kazuki are the ones who made the poneglyphs. Like, this was mind-blowing for its time. Nowadays, it's just it's still cool. Like, even on reread or whatever, it's still cool that we get to this point of the story and it's getting all this lore stuff. But I don't think anybody would be throwing this in as like among the best. Kind Bass says Jaya was pretty nuts with lore bombs. Not really. I think nowadays we were able to put stuff from Jaya and Skypeia into context. But are you saying world building stuff? Yeah. Like, it had cool world building stuff. But I think even stuff like that, right? Like, way back when, something like certain things like the Shichibukai meeting, that would for its time have been like an all-time great chapter. Nowadays, that's just like a minor. It's a notable chapter, but it's small in the grand scheme of things. You know what I mean? I think the things that, in my opinion, hold firm the strongest are story and emotional beats. I think because those stay strong no matter what, in my opinion. So that's my only reason for why this current chapter that just came out, while it's definitely the most mind-blowing One Piece chapter of recent memory and like the biggest lore reveal maybe ever in the story, I don't know if at the end of the day, like I don't know if like 200 chapters from now people will be arguing that this is a top 10 chapter of all time. Whereas something like someone said Nothing Happened, right? Or like I Want to Live, like those are chapters that we can get to the end of the story, their weight is not going to change. That's my only thought. So I think it might be a little bit knee-jerk to say that this is the chapter that just came out is top 10 chapters of all time. I think without a doubt it is the most significant lore chapter of all time, but I don't know if that necessarily puts it in my top like 10, 20 chapters ever. I don't know. Let's go from the beginning. So this is easy because I personally feel like there's no crazy great chapters early on in One Piece. I would say the first really great one would be, and we'll put the chapter titles as well. I'd say this would be the first one, maybe Zoro Mihawk, that is in contention, but I don't think it would rank. I think I'd say the next chapter. I'd say this one. Yeah, Oath. I'd say chapter 52 Oath. That's my first pick for something that's going to end up in here. So let's just start by putting that right off the bat in there, and we'll have the chapter titles as well. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 200 real quick. Let's get the stream likes up to 200. I'm gonna just. I think the simplest way is just put it at 1, and we'll move things up and down as other contenders come in. Yeah, I'm gonna go from the beginning, and this will be a nice trip down memory lane, right? So Oaths, good chapter. I've got nothing else from Baratier. I personally think that I got nothing else until till Nami's shit. I think Nami's stuff is... Ooh. It smells good. I think this chapter is very strong. But then so's chapter 78. There's similar chapters, right? What's stronger? I guess I can put 78, 79. What's stronger out of these two chapters? Maybe this is stronger. I'm going to go ahead and put 78. 78, which is... We'll just put things in dock as we go. 78. We'll throw 79 in there. Live on. Oops. And then we're going to put in... we're going to, of course, put in Tears. And I think this is the strongest one so far. I'd say... Yeah. 78 is stronger. Do you guys agree? Does anyone feel like... most likely a lot of, like... Okay, what do you guys feel is stronger? Like, Bellamere or Oath? Bunfagun, thanks for the 5. Chapter 1, Chapter 52. I can put in Chapter 1, but Chapter 1 is... I don't genuinely feel like Chapter 1 is all that strong. I just feel like Chapter 1 is good for... Oh my god, that smells so good. Okay, never mind. Chapter 1 is good for nostalgia, I guess, but I don't think it's that strong. I don't think One Piece has a particularly strong first chapter. I'm not going to list it. 52, 81, agree. Chapter 100... I think Chapter 100 is important as a milestone, but I wouldn't put it as all... I don't think it's cracking the top 30. Chapter 195... 195... Is that would be like during Zoro versus Ohm or some shit like that, right? 202... That's the start of... or end of Luffy and Crocodile round 1, I think. 216, that should be... them saying goodbye to VV. 223... I don't... Oh, 223 is the bar scene probably, right? 300... I know these chapters really well. 300, that's the conclusion to Skypeia. 332 is probably Luffy versus Usopp. 388, I think... 388 might be... I don't know what 388 would be, because, like, their transition... Like, Enies Lobby is just... The raid at Enies Lobby has started around then. 388, are you saying, like... is that all the Strats lined up to see Robin, or is that Luffy versus Blueno? 39... It might be Luffy versus Blueno, right? I think, yeah, Gear second. 397, and Robin flashback. 398, in my opinion, best chapter in One Piece. 430... Going Merry. 485, nothing happened. I know all the iconic chapters. That's pretty good. That was pretty good. I think I was 10 for 10 right there, right? All-powerful God, NL. Thanks for being a Pirate King tournament for 22 months. 225, please, Morj-kun. We'll get there. We'll get there. I wanna be thorough, so I'm gonna go in order a little bit. Also, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for so long. Make sure to get your submissions in for the month because Pirate King tier submissions are open right now. Just get your submission in, man. For those of you who are interested in joining Pirate King tier, just Pirate King tier, you get to submit your questions. I answered an hour to hour and a half long podcast. I go through everyone's question very, very in depth, and it does not have to be One Piece. It can be other anime, other manga, movies, TV, video games, real life, all that stuff. Kosh Panda, I missed your super. Hold on, man. Kosh Panda, thanks for 2. My vote for chapter 590, first chapter / ep to make me cry. I, funnily enough, I think the whole post-Marineford section didn't really make me cry like that. Like, it is very touching. 590, I imagine, is that, like, the Strats count, Luffy remembering all the Strats, right? There's nothing... I think it is an all-time great chapter just because it's, like, the peak of, like, just Luffy and the crew's bond. Oh, no, is it the end of... No, yeah, it is this. Yeah, Luffy counting. It is the most important... This is the most important, like, character low that Luffy ever has here, right? Technically, it's when, at the end of Marineford itself, but this is where he actually processes and goes through everything. So it is a phenomenal chapter. I think it will probably make the list. It'll probably make the list. I think I was emotionally drained post Marineford, so these things, while really good and they still resonate with me very well, I don't think these chapters made me cry. Nurgangi, thanks for the 2. Bro, I came back after 1 year and manga Morj still dead. I swear, I almost did something for Hunter x Hunter while I was on its run. I still have my crew. Yeah. If Hunter x Hunter comes back, I got some content I want to do for it, but it's hard to keep the regular channel going, and that's just what I experienced when doing manga Morj. Like, during the time I was doing manga Morj, it was hard to focus as much on the One Piece channel, and in return, the content suffered, and I always want to put the One Piece channel first. Also, let's get stream likes up to 150 real quick. Oh, I don't know. I keep switching to this. Okay. Anything else from here? I guess you could say chapter 100, but I don't think chapter 100 is that crazy that it would make like a top 30 list. We can throw it in. We can throw it in to keep the list going. Right, what's chapter 100? The legend has begun. It is a cool chapter. Alright, so from here on... Yeah, let's get the stream likes up to 150. From here on, I feel like the next big one is Chopper. Right? I feel like that's the next big one. I skipped way too far. Oh, I fucking skipped the flashback. Hold on. I went the other way. Yeah, I think 145 makes it in there. I think 145 makes it in there. Especially with Hero Look's final words. I think I got 145. I think I got 145. Do you guys agree? I keep switching back to the wrong thing. I think I got 145. Do you guys agree? Inherited Will? How do you guys feel about this? I feel like it's not quite as iconic as the Zoro Mihawk chapter, but it might be. Man's dream, or no, a man dies when he's forgotten. What do you guys feel? Stormy says Luffy versus Zoro's Peak. Fuck you, me. I mean, Whiskey Peak. That's not to say Whiskey Peak, Little Garden didn't have good chapters, but we're saying top 30 in all of One Piece. I don't think there's any contenders for an all-time top 30. 145 greater than 52. I'll throw it to the chat. I still feel like I'd take Help Me over. Let's see. 145. When does man die? Versus 52. Zoro Oath. Akash Bandit saying 178. That's Luffy losing the crocodile, right? I think that has a good shot in there. I think I'd lean 145 as well, actually. If it's close, I'm gonna give it to 145. I think I'd still take Help Me over 145, but that's a close one. It's a close call. Okay. Good shit. Then how do you guys feel about this one? How do you guys feel about this one? 145. When does man die? When he's forgotten. Versus 81. Help me. I think I still personally lean 81 just a little bit. I think it's like, I think that's my favorite, like most empowering Straw Hat crew moment till we get to Enies lobby stuff. So I think I personally lean 81, but it's very slight. I see it either way. When does a man die when he's forgotten is like one of the most important speeches and messages in the story and like most powerful send-offs. 81 is like the first time you get to like the conclusion, like the climax of a One Piece emotional story arc, and like you hit that crescendo. I think I swayed it a little bit, but yeah, I think I'll keep 81 there. But it's very tight. It's very tight. I think it's very tight. Tom says, Morj, I've literally referenced When Does Man Die in speeches for school. Yeah, but like, you're not just because like that doesn't mean that that's better. Like, there's certain things that are going to be more speech-worthy quotable than than just like straight up really powerful emotional moments. If we want to go that route, I'm pretty sure you've probably said the phrase "help me" more frequently in your life. You know, if you just think about it, like, hey, can you help me with this? Oh, I need some help. Can you help me? I'm pretty sure you say that more frequently than that speech that you say for school if you want to get into that game. Anyway, I think either choice is a strong choice. I think it's splitting hairs at this point. Okay, and I do feel like these ones are definitely going to still... I think these two are definitely going to make it into the top 30. I think this one's iffy. All right. Bunfagum says 81 is peak emotional catharsis. Yeah, and for me, I think I'm a little bit biased towards that, but, you know. 81 overrated, not gonna lie. It's good, but better than 145. So I think with 81, part of I think I've seen differing opinions on like. So I think with the help me scene, I think a lot of it comes down to how bought in are you by that point into the story in One Piece. Like if you're bought into the crew and like. If you're bought in and you're really enjoying the crew, the cast of characters, and everything like that over the course of East Blue already, then the whole help me scene is very, very powerful. If you're still like lukewarm on One Piece and it hasn't really caught you just yet, then 81 is a good scene to like finally start getting you rolling emotionally with it. So I think because it's such an early emotional climax in the story, it resonates differently depending on where you're at in your own journey with the series so far. Because at this point I've seen several different people try One Piece, also through the live action as well, and like I've gotten to see several different like a nice large range of reactions to Arlong Park, etc. For some people, they're not really vibing with One Piece to like Alabasta. So like the Nami Arlong Park stuff, it's good to get them to start taking One Piece more seriously. But then other people who like are just liking One Piece from day one, like they like the cast characters, etc., and they're feeling invested in everything, and it pulls at their heartstrings emotionally, like pretty well. Like I think it also depends on how easily pulled in emotionally you are to certain series, right? So I think it just depends, because it's a strong emotional moment, but the strength is going to vary depending on how invested you are in the story by that point. I think the further you get into a story, the reader, the viewer, whoever is invested. So stuff like Robin's shit, that's like once you're 400 chapters into the story, or like 200, 300 episodes, whatever the episode count is at that point, 300 something episodes, that stuff's gonna hit no matter what, because you're in it, right? You're in it, you're invested, etc. East Blue, and by the end of East Blue, that's still the testing out phase for the series for a lot of people, if that makes sense. Silver King says, I did not care for that moment, not gonna lie, but okay. Yeah, I think it just depends. I think it depends. A lot of people aren't even really, to be fair, I guess, into One Piece till like post Enies Lobby or even Marineford. Anyway, continuing on. Okay. 100, 145. Okay, so Akash Panda was saying 178. That's Luffy versus Crocodile. I do think that belongs. I think that's got a spot in here. Yeah, I think this is the first big sharp turn for One Piece in terms of like Luffy's journey. I'd put 178 in there. I personally think it's a really good chapter. I think it's a really good chapter. I would personally put it around here. I don't think this is going to rank in a top time all 30. I would even almost put it here. Zoro versus Mr. One, great fight, but I don't think it's going to end up in the top 30, so it's not really worth putting into here. I'm only really going to put things that I think might have a shot at making it in the top 30, otherwise we're just going to be doing too much. Vivi screaming, stop the fighting is amazing since Brandon King. For me, I don't really love that chapter that much. I personally love chapter 200. How do you guys feel about... actually, I love the Usopp chapter, but I don't know if it'll make it into a top 30. I'm going to go ahead and put it in. If any of the fights from here, if there's a chapter for any of the fights that are going to make it into a top 30, I personally, yeah, I actually personally have this one. Oh my god, I keep clicking on this shit. I think this 186, just 4. Right? I feel like, am I crazy? I think that the writing for Usopp here is easily the strongest out of any of the Straw Hats in any of their fights. I think by a long shot. Like, this is just, considering who the character is, what this fight does for him, like, this is Usopp. He's the first person, like, keep in mind, Usopp is the first person who says that, this is the first time a Straw Hat says that Luffy's going to become the Pirate King. First Straw Hat to say it, and it's Usopp of all people in a situation like life or death. Like, and he's choosing to basically die on that. I really, really like this chapter. I don't know if it'll make it to top 30, but I'm saying, like, if out of any of the current... I actually am tearing up a little bit thinking about this chapter. I think Usopp moments really hit for me. One chapter that I really like here, personally, how do you guys feel about 199? Bonclay sacrifice and impel down? For some reason, that one didn't hit that much for me, but I think a lot of it depends on your mind state when you are, going through the series. So, like, when I was reading Marineford, I was in probably, like, I don't know, 8th, 9th grade? I don't remember exactly when Marineford was coming out. I was young. Sorry, not Marineford, Impel Down. I was young. Keep in mind, as a One Piece readers, we had been accustomed to, at this point in time, we had become accustomed to every single arc ending with Luffy defeating the bad guy, right? Every single arc, we'd become accustomed to that being the case. So then, Impel Down, like, Sabaody, they lose, right? I was expecting over the course of Impel Down that, like, Luffy's going to get a big win by the end of this. Like, you just view it through the lens of, like, yeah, Luffy's supposed to win. He's supposed to get stronger, like always, get some new power-ups. Okay, Gear Second's not cutting it. So I was very excited to see the rematch between Luffy and Magellan because I legitimately believed in Impel Down at that point in time I was like, yeah, Luffy's going to figure out a way. Like, this is a place that he has to get stronger, right? Like, that's going to be the story here. He has to get stronger. It's teaching him a lesson, etc. So I was very excited for Luffy versus Magellan. And then we get to the end of Impel Down, and Luffy versus Magellan is not quite happening. It is still happening, but it's like a lot of assistance, and like Luffy's using some whack shenanigans, and it doesn't feel like a real fight. So like all the way up to like the final moments where they're exiting Impel Down, I'm just like, Luffy versus Magellan. Just give me Luffy versus Magellan. And like they're out of there, and it's like I still love the conclusion of Impel Down and everything, but like I just felt like a little bit blue-balled. And so like Mr. 2 doing that whole send-off or whatever, I wasn't mentally kind of in it for, like, I didn't think it was a bad moment or anything, but it was more so just like, oh man, we didn't get to see Luffy versus Magellan. Okay, but readjust on to Marineford. Good shit happening there, right? Oh shit, JWP, thanks for gifting 5 memberships. Holy shit, thank you as usual, man. You are the absolute fucking best. Everybody, shouts in. I want to see lots of shouts in chat for JWP because so many of you guys have memberships thanks to this man. So many of you get lucky stream after stream thanks to this man. Just show your love for JWP because someday you might get a membership off of him as well. Let me get to your comment in a second. Let me catch up here real quick. Grizzly Adams, thanks for the 5. Most people have One Piece as a one-off of their top one of their top favorites. Okay, most people who have One Piece as one of their top favorites love Arlong Park. People who just casually enjoy it probably need a little longer. I think it depends, because like, so the cool thing about One Piece is that One Piece can hook. I think this is one of the greatest strengths of One Piece. It reminds me of one of the greatest strengths of Harry Potter. So one of the reasons that Harry Potter is very, 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 very popular is because it has it draws in a very large audience, because most everyone can find something that they really like about Harry Potter, right? If you like magic and fantasy, that's in Harry Potter. But if you like slice of life stuff and just like relationships and like some drama and like just teenage high school shit or whatever, that's in there. If you like heavy, heavy, heavy mystery, Harry Potter is phenomenal for mystery. It's like you could argue that every Harry Potter novel is basically like a mystery novel or like a whodunit novel in a sense. Like they're unraveling a mystery. Like it checks off a lot of different boxes that will make it appeal to some subset of people. Like it just it combines everything in a very, very unique way that you're not going to see in a lot of other series, which is why most other series, like it's Harry Potter is one of one, right? One Piece is similar in the sense that if you want, if you're looking for a story that has like really, really good lore or mysteries and things like that, that's One Piece. If you're looking for a series that's lighter and comedy and everything, One Piece has that. If you're looking for a series that can actually tell really powerful, emotionally like character-driven storylines, right, that make you cry, that like really pull at your heartstrings, One Piece has that in spades and much more than your standard shonen. So One Piece often surprises people in terms of how emotionally riveting and emotionally powerful it can be, right? But then if you want fights and like shonen abilities and power-ups and everything like that, it's got that too. If you want crazy like aura and hype and war and like epic shit, One Piece is phenomenal at epic stuff and aura and like that side of things, right? So pretty much if you stick with One Piece long enough, eventually some things will start clicking for you. So I think people who love One Piece from the beginning are people who generally like the tone, the light with the hints of seriousness and darkness and stuff like that. They like the tone and the comedy right off the bat, and they vibe with just the characters' vibes and everything like that right off the bat. And yeah, sorry, I thought I heard something. I think people who are good with that, and then they can just enjoy the emotional storytelling components like Arlong Park and everything. Those are people who tend to like One Piece from the get-go. Some people in their shonen, they kind of need the epic stuff earlier on, which One Piece doesn't have, or you need the mysteries or the lore or like the world building and stuff earlier on, which One Piece doesn't have, like, or you need really good fights early on, which One Piece doesn't have, right? So people who like One Piece early on are gonna be people who also like Arlong Park quite a bit, because that's a point in the story that you're not getting good fights, you're not getting really hype shit really happening, except for like I guess Mihawk showing like for 2 chapters out of 100. you're not getting like a lot of the traditional shonen stuff, right? So if you're somebody who likes One Piece from the beginning, then you probably really just are also somebody who's going to like Arlong Park. On the flip side, by the time you're at like something like Marineford, One Piece is likely delivering in some category for you, no matter who you are, right? Because by that point, if you like mysteries and like lore and like world building and stuff, you're like, holy shit, One Piece is the best at it. If you're looking for like crazy hype epic shonen stuff, you're like, okay, One Piece is also the best at this, right? If you're looking for cool badass characters, One Piece actually has a lot of those at that point in time, right? And it's still got the really good emotional stuff. So that's why I think that like the Arlong Park stuff, I don't view Arlong Park as like the metric for if somebody gets there and likes it or doesn't like it, they're going to be a One Piece fan. Because for a lot of people, honestly, they just need to get like, if you get to Marineford and you don't like One Piece, you will never like One Piece because you've seen pretty much everything the series is good at by that point in time, and none of it's really resonated with you, right? But every sectional, like Arlong Park is where you're going to start seeing like the emotional storytelling strengths of One Piece and character-driven storytelling strengths. I'd say Alabasta is when you can start seeing like the grander scale storytelling that it can do and some of the cooler fights and villains that it can have. Enies Lobby is when you realize like just how big the world and the story and how heavily dramatic it can actually get and how cool the fights can actually be finally. And then Marineford is when you get like the epic shit. Like that's when you get the epic stuff. You realize just how truly crazy the lore is, just how insane the cast of characters actually is that Oda's been hiding from us. So there's like levels to it. Beyond that, if you still have not enjoyed One Piece at the point, you're not going to enjoy One Piece. So anyway, I think that's why Chapter 81, it's going to be really important to some people, but not as important to other people, because other people, like some people, it just take some time to really get into liking One Piece. And then once you like the series more, then you're more open to enjoying the emotional parts of it as well. Anyway, continuing on. Grizzly Adams, thanks. Oh no, we covered this. JWP, thanks for the 5-man. Just got here. Not sure if it's been mentioned, but Hero Look speech chapter. Also, thoughts on Luca trade. So, Luca trade, I pinned a comment. We're going to talk about that in an hour or so. After an hour or so. I'm just going to close. No, I'll keep it up. We got Hero Look's chapter right now, ranked at second place. And we're going just in order through the story. But we got that at second. But yeah, the Luca trade, we are going to talk about that. Akash Panda, I gotta ask you to not spam unless it's stuff that's like actually saving the stream or like missed supers or something like that. But otherwise, you can't spam as much, man. I appreciate it though. I will look at those chapters, obviously. Let me check too. I enjoyed chapter 199 a lot. For some reason, I thought this was chapter 200 in my head, but I enjoyed chapter 199 a lot. The chapter where like Luffy. Oh no, I think it's 198. 198 is the one I was thinking of. 198 is the one. I love this chapter. When Luffy... This is my favorite Luffy entrance in the story, actually. I think this is my favorite Luffy entrance in the story. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but it just feels like the peak of assholishness and abuse. And then Luffy coming in to save the day out of... Like, literally out of the heavens. This is my favorite Luffy entrance in all of One Piece. Like, literally flying in on the back of Pell out of the sky and yelling like, because this is, I think, in terms of ratio of like how badly do I want anyone to show up to kick this guy's ass, to someone actually showing up. Like, this is the peak ratio of like really, really wanting someone to come in out of, like, there's just nobody there. No one can do anything to Crocodile. You just really, really want someone to show up to do something to this asshole. And then, like, in proportion to how dramatic and out of the blue this entrance is, I think this is perfect. Like, I think this is the pinnacle of Luffy entrances, just because you really don't know when Luffy is coming, because he's just been off screen for so long. Other times, like, we've got clues that Luffy's coming back. Like, when Luffy shows up to... I think Luffy actually showing up to take on Enel... I think the anime does a phenomenal job for Luffy showing up to take on Enel. I think that's actually my favorite Luffy entrance, even over this one. But I think the anime does a lot to... The way it does the music and everything like that. Because Enel's even more asshole-ish almost, and even more unstoppable than Crocodile. But I think this is really, really good. I kind of got... Rooftop felt more grand, in my opinion. I think that's relative person to person. For me, the difference is just that, like, with the Rooftop... like you see Luffy going up, like there's like 10 chapters in a row of Luffy going up the stairs, and like it's a lot of gag moment after gag moment, so it's kind of like silly, so the tone's very lighthearted with Luffy going up there all the way. And with this, it's so like Luffy eventually gets there, but with this, I think the biggest difference to me is just the character writing, in that this is like 198 is an entire full 20-page chapter long, like dug in like showdown between Crocodile and Vivi, with him just like mentally, psychologically abusing her. It is just so well paced, all leading up to this phenomenal entrance from Luffy completely out of the blue, and it's dramatic from start to finish because the whole chapter is so serious and we don't know Luffy's coming. Like, he comes up out of the blue and he's filled with so much rage, right? Luffy coming up to the rooftop was like goofing around, and it was very long and prolonged, and we never got like a full like psychological warfare chapter between Kaido and the Scabbards, because that just wasn't really the relationship that they had or the type of character that Kaido was. He just kind of beat him up mostly off screen. He beat him up off screen. Like, that's the other thing. It's just another Wano thing. It's like he beat him up off screen, and then Onigashima starts floating, and then like it's cool, like in terms of cool points, it's cool to see Kaido and Big Mom lined up against the Supernova, etc. But there's not that much like personal connection in terms of like leading up to, like, the personal drama is not as sharply done. Like, this is a full chapter dedicated to just the character stuff, right? So when Luffy shows up here, it hits that much harder for me personally. Where would you guys put this in there or no? Kai Jujutsu says, I agree that this is a better entrance, but chapter 1000 overall is a better chapter in my opinion. I mean, I can't agree with that because this is a whole chapter of writing in advance before that. You might be thinking of episode. The episode was phenomenal. The episode is definitely up there. Let me take a look at chapter 1000. To me, there's just not much. Chapter 1000 is just stuff happening. Like, Zoro getting tossed up there. It's very scattered. Yamato, Ace talking. Very, very detached from, like it's just Yamato playing catch-up to, like, talking about, like, it's not focused. The chapter is really not focused. Like, this is a cool panel. Like, if you want cool points, it's cool. But it's just, like, Luffy's not showing up enraged or anything like that, right? He's just been on the roof, or he's been going up, laughing, joking, etc. Then Luffy walks over. Then he gets to see Kinemon, sees the Scabbards. Of course I will, dummy. It's my friend's country. I don't know. To me, that's just not the same energy as, like, like, when you're fucking coming in, like, this is also the chapter that the war really broke out. Like, this is the craziest war panel in One Piece. Like, this is Luffy, like, from the bottom of his heart, the moment he sees Crocodile, it's just enraged, right? It's very, very different energy. He's mad at the end. Just not the same energy for me. I don't think it's close, personally. I think this is clearly a better entrance. Again, it's a full chapter of actual writing and dramatic tension building and everything like that. And, like, it's actual dialogue, you know? Not, like, Wano dialogue, like, 2 lines here or there. Like, this is a full-ass chapter of, like, in-depth dialogue with the country going to shit. Like, this is a fucking harrowing chapter, honestly. This is a good-ass chapter. All right. It's not close. Chapter 1000 is not close at further examination. Ray Chia, thanks for the 5. So I had a thought. What if the mural is drawing that Oda did as a kid and then wrote the story of One Piece around it? I doubt it. I think that's way too insane even for Oda to, like, as a kid to just come up with. Knut Worgen, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for 7 months. Not my favorite chapter, but want to shout out 284. Funniest chapter in my opinion, and has a great Sanji moment. I think Skypeia all around has the best showcases of the Straw Dynamics when they're at their best. Skypeia has good showcases of the Straw Dynamics. I agree with that. 284, funniest chapter. Is that when Nami and Usopp and Sanji on the Maxim? That's a good chapter. Also, if you haven't gotten your Pirate King submissions in just yet, definitely do so, Knut Worgen. Thank you for the long-time support, man. The podcast, I'm going to record it this week. So if you want to get in your submission, just, it's up right now. I'll be answering every question that comes through the Pirate King podcast if you guys want to join. In depth, all of that. Also, let's get the stream likes up to 200 real quick. Factory Cow, thanks for me. Yonko to remember for 10 months. What chapter sequence would you show someone to convince them to continue? Friend doesn't care about spoilers and has read up to chapter 100 but stopped. Out of context, if they really don't care about spoilers, I would honestly say just show them the Hachinosu Raid mini arc. Just show them the Hachinosu Raid mini arc. I would sincerely say that. That's my opinion of the anime at this point. I'm like, the anime has gotten good enough that you could actually just take the Hachinosu mini arc, show it to somebody out of context, and they would be interested in One Piece, I think. Rachel, thanks for the 5. So I had a thought. What if the mural is the drawing? Oh, no. No, we covered that. Eric Tolado, thanks for the 2. You're forgetting 1079? What do you mean? We're going in order, man. We're going in order. We're still in Alabasta, dude. These aren't the best. These are not the best One Piece chapter. There's a lot more to it, right? So we're going in order. I would put chapter 198 in there personally. I put 198 in there. I would put it right around here. 4:15 p.m. So now here's where we get to a tricky point. Where for me, Luffy defeating Crocodile is an all-time great anime episode, but I don't feel like it's an all-time great chapter personally. I think in general, my one thing with Alabasta, I think Alabasta is such a phenomenal arc from start to finish. I think most everything in Alabasta though is like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10. Like it never has lows. I guess Pell. I guess Pell is a terrible low. And the sad part is that Pell would have been one of its highest highs if Pell didn't go the way Pell did. But outside of the blip of Pell, all of Alabasta is enjoyable from start to finish. There's no wasted space, no wasted time. The story flows beautifully. No wasted amount of characters. I think Alabasta is like Oda's tightest arc that he ever did while also being a grand arc. So in that regard, I think Alabasta is really great. I don't know if it has like another chapter that would be top 30 in there. Oh, final chapter. I think final chapter could be in there. Them leaving. It's the music. It is the music. That music. I fucking play Dvorak's. I play that just to get myself pumped up a lot of times. Because the animation of the fight is not good. It doesn't really hold up. It's pretty raw and I like the art style, but like even Luffy's Goma Goma no Storm, it looks kind of clumsy to me the way it's done. But the music makes the whole thing so powerful, and like even the emotional beats that play out time perfectly with the song after Crocodile's flying. I'd say 216's in there somewhere. $216's in there somewhere. Do you guys think 216? Yeah, it's the music. The music's big for it. Eric says those two idiots had no character law. I think if you wanna cut one character from Alabasta to make it tighter, it's Chaka. But I don't think I think there's a certain simplicity to just having Pell and Chaka, because otherwise, if you don't have Chaka, then you have no there's reasoning to everything. Like there's never a point that Oda's including characters just to include them, because Pell is sent out to do things, right? So you need and then Cobra is captured, right? So if Cobra is captured and Pell's out, then it's almost like Oda knew from the beginning you need a character that's there, that's guarding the city and is basically representing the Alabastan royal forces, right? So then you have Chaka, right? He maybe didn't have the biggest personality, but he didn't need to. He just needed to exist in that role. It's the total, because otherwise it's just like there's nothing there. There's nobody in the, representing the Alabastan royal army side. So you just need a general for that section. And so Chaka's a very simple, underplayed role. He gets one small moment against Crocodile just to kind of add to his personality or whatever, but Alabasta, like, the more I think about it, it really is that fucking tight. Like, there was not a character included in Alabasta that did not have a role. It's possible Oda came up with Chaka simply to have a character there for the royal family side, one of their guards / generals or whatever, to lead them once Cobra is out and Pell's out. Like, that's the total opposite of the way that Oda works nowadays, where it's just like, how many characters could I fit in that are unnecessary as possible, just because they might be zany or have like some quirky, funny traits or fun designs. Yeah. 216 Man's Dream. Man's Dream is my top 5. Man's Dream will make it. It'll make it. I think we'll throw 216. I just don't know where 216 lands. Where does 216 land? I don't know where I'd put 216. I'd put 216 above here. I think 216 is a very good scene. Maybe I might put it above here. Do you think 216 should be higher? I think I have 52 a little too high. I think I have 52 a little too high. Let me ask. Hero Looks Death is already second spot. 216 rank higher. Bump up to 4th. Bump up to 3rd. I think I should move it higher. I'm actually now thinking maybe it should be here. That's my immediate thought. .209. I think 209 is a good chapter. I think it's a very good chapter because that's when the rain falls and everything. Or is that Luffy defeating Crocodile and the next chapter is the rain falling? Next. 209 is a very good chapter. I don't know if it's going to make it into the top 30. Bump up to 3rd. Okay, people want 3rd. Yeah, so majority say 3rd or higher. I'm going to keep it at 3. 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 All right, let's keep moving. All right, we've got a chapter that I think most would agree with coming up. I don't fucking remember what chapter the barroom scene happens exactly, though. Is it like 225? Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah, people were saying 225 as well. 225, The Man's Dream. Simple, beautiful, very elegant chapter. Great. It's got two things, right? The bar scene, phenomenal scene, and then Blackbeard scene, phenomenal scene. It's, what do you even say about this chapter? I think I might put it... I think I'm biased because I personally like I like Bellemere's death scene a lot. But I understand that that's not like one of the most iconic. I don't know. For me, it goes in terms of Strahd flashbacks only, right? It goes Robin, Chopper, Nami, with Nami and Chopper being very, very close. And I view the deaths of Bellemere and Hero Look as being very, very strong. Bellemere's death is split over 2 chapters, which is why it's a little tricky to rate. People really, really like 225, though. I think 225 is a very, very strong chapter. I think 225 is tricky because it's also a stronger chapter in retrospect, like when you think about how far we've come. So it's a chapter that gets stronger and stronger from the moment it happens. Because, like, I'm somebody that, I don't do this as much now, but I used to. There was a phase where I loved watching people react to One Piece episodes. I loved watching people react to One Piece episodes. So, it was always fun to go watch the bar scene and particularly people's reaction to Blackbeard. It was fun to watch that, but it's not as crazy impactful usually when you first come across it because you don't know anything, right? You don't know what you just witnessed. You don't know how significant this character is and what he just said is. You don't know how much importance, even if you remove the character, what he just said thematically is to the story. And you're still, it takes some time to like really process the whole Luffy Zoro bar scene and how that played out and why that was the right thing. I think 225 is a chapter that gets stronger the further you go in the story. It's not the craziest chapter when you first come across it. Batman for real, thanks for the 5. Gonna skip this one. Pre-time skip better than post-time skip is the most annoying rhetoric in the fan base, and I think we all know where this is going. We're not, we're going in order, man. We're going in order. We're currently going in order. We're going through the story bit by bit. There will be plenty of post-time skip chapters in there. Off the top of my head, I can think of several post-time skip chapters that'll be in there. We're going in order. We're not there at post-time skip yet, which is why you don't see post-time skip chapters on there. Kosh Benda says, I don't enjoy watching reactions to the bar scene. It's always misunderstood and controversial and frustrating. Yeah, I think it's one that you need to sit with for a little bit before you really get the full. I don't blame people. I think it's one that you need to sit with to really, really get it, you know? 225, let's see. I think, in retrospect, I think it's fair to put, like, here. It's tricky because, like, the quote is so significant, and the moment is so significant, and the bar scene is so good. I think something like Bellemir's death is gonna hit me still harder, but I'm gonna put it here. I'm gonna put it here. It is an iconic chapter. Men's Dream. Okay. All right, now hot take. No, I don't think it's a hot take. I don't think there's anything in Skypeia that's going to be a top 30 chapter. I don't think there's anything in Skypeia that's a top 30 chapter. Maybe Nolan Kogara. I think Nolan Kogara, but even then, I don't know if that makes top 30. I think Nolan Kogara is a phenomenal flashback. I don't know if there's any particular moment in the flashback. I guess the finale of it. I think Luffy arriving to defeat Enel, to fight Enel the first time, that's actually my favorite Luffy entrance. I think the music, the way it's done, and the way Luffy's charging, like he literally is running on the side of buildings and stuff, and like when it is my favorite, and I'm just hoping that I'm actually getting goosebumps thinking about this, if Luffy gets an encounter like this with Imu. I just love the Luffy Enel encounter so much because it's just so the opposite of so many other Luffy boss encounters, like where he meets them multiple times or there's like a lot of build up to it or something. Like Enel's this dude who thought he was God. He fucked up every single person. Luffy's just being a dumbass strolling around the island the entire time singing that silly song. And then like Enel thinks he's finished his plan till like Luffy finds out what he did right as Enel's on the way out. And then Luffy basically shows up and, like, just grabs Enel by the shoulder before he's out. And he's like, I just love what he yells, too. Like, Enel, like, he just yells. And he's like, he doesn't even know who the fuck Enel is. He's just like, Enel. It's a great yell. And then Enel's like, well, who the fuck are you? And, like, it fills Nami with so much hope because Nami thought, like, literally no one can do anything. But it's like, no, like, have more faith in Luffy. Like, Luffy can do it. And he's like, I think his line is like, what the hell do you think you've done to my crew? It's just, I don't know, it's so epic because it's just like Luffy's coming in with so little knowledge of how much bad shit Enel just did. But all he cares about is that Enel fucked up his crew. And like, now Luffy's going to solve it. Like, you all can sit back. He's going to solve it because like, Enel did the thing that he's not supposed to do. The problem is that I don't think that. Let me see. I don't think it's as strong in. First, let's look at Nolan Kogara. I kind of want to take a peek. Oh yeah, because this takes earlier. This is earlier, right? So 278 or 277 maybe. Yeah, 278. Yeah, everyone just has so much fear of NL because there's nothing you can really do to that dude. Nothing you can really do to that dude. He's the first really untouchable villain that we have. Yeah, Luffy's charging. The way the anime did it was just so good. This is a very good chapter to me. You could argue that next chapter, even with NL's reaction face, is even better. I don't know if they're top 30 type. Kosh Bennett says, are you that NL guy? Yeah. Okay, what's JWP saying? JWP, thanks for the 10, man. I watched a lot of One Piece reactions and ended up to skip around the best moments. After watching a lot, you can really start to tell what the most important episodes/chapters are. Yeah, you really can. Like, if I were to say, like, off the top of my head, right? Well, let me finish your part 2. I would argue that the best way to look at it, if you're showing someone One Piece, what 30 chapters are you most excited to have them see? That is a good point. That is a very, very good point. I think it's tricky because certain things like the Blackbeard meeting and stuff I've noticed from watching reactions, don't hit as hard initially, right? So, like, for example, for me, if I'm watching Skypeia reactions, the things that I'm looking forward to the most are Luffy running into NL and really NL's reaction face. So, like, yeah, I think NL's reaction face is an even stronger chapter. I think that should make it in the top 30. If I were to say biggest things I look forward to, after that, I look forward to certain small things like Doflamingo's speech in Chapter 303, Straws running into Aokiji, that's huge. Luffy, Usopp, all that stuff. I love the CP9 reveal, watching that. There's lots of moments throughout Water 7 Enies Lobby. There's too many moments in Water 7 Enies Lobby. Too many dramatic moments, honestly. Too many dramatic moments. That would take forever. Yeah, I think I'm going to just start being a little stingier now in terms of, like, what I'm considering for this. Just got to start being stingier, otherwise we'll take too long. Gear second, obviously. Chapter 398, obviously. Luffy's Jet Gatling moment, like, it's not like it's hell here. Going Merry. Robin's flashback, obviously. Robin's flashback. Final chapter of Robin's flashback, 397. I will actually refuse to put 397 in the list. It just doesn't count anymore. Where it used to go, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that's what I think people really, really don't understand how much that fucks with me. The whole Saul thing. Chapter 397, it would have been, for me, probably a top 3 chapter. I'll show you guys later where I would put chapter 297 or 397 at the end of this. But now it doesn't rank in the list. It's now ranked as probably the worst chapter in One Piece, in my estimation, just because of what was lost. Just continuing on, obviously, from there. Thriller Bark, nothing happened. Ace versus Blackbeard. Yeah, maybe I should really just go with iconic. Just go with like big moments from here on. And that makes it a tighter list. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try and move it to a more iconic, like, parameters. More iconic, like, just more impactful, because otherwise we'll be here all day. Like, every arc is going to have certain chapters that are really good. Factory Cat, thanks for the 5. It might not be the top chapter, but where would you place chapter 1? I feel like it's still up there for what it does to establish the story. I just don't think at any point, I don't think One Piece even has a good chapter 1. Like, what it does to establish the story, yeah, but like that, every chapter 1 establishes a story, you know? You could argue that One Piece's chapter 1 showed like really strong vision to some degree, but I would argue in the grand scheme of manga chapter 1s, One Piece chapter 1 is not that exciting. It's one of the reasons that I think, you think I have difficulty getting people to try Attack on Titan? Fuck no. Even Naruto has a good chapter 1. Bleach has a good chapter 1. Like, things that like get you into a verse, or like cool power sets, or like certain things, like things that'll just hook you really, really strong and really fast. One Piece's chapter 1 is, I don't think it's that. I really don't think it's that. I think it's good for rose-tinted glasses, you know? Gosh, Banner, thanks for 2. Include Bellamy Punch and Whitebeard reveal, please. I'm not going to include Whitebeard reveal. JLP, thanks for the 2. Yeah, you're hitting every moment I rewatch LMAO. I could include Bellamy Punch. I think Bellamy Punch could go in there. I'm going to go ahead and not include Nolan Kogara. I personally don't really go to rewatch Nolan Kogara, even though it's a phenomenal flashback. I'm going to include NL Face, and I can include Bellamy Punch because I think that's a big one that people really enjoy. That'd be like 234, maybe. A little bit before that. One more. I don't think Bellamy Punch will make it to the top 30 in my opinion. Like I'd put Bellamy Punch around here. Let's see. NL Face, Pirate Luffy versus God Eneru. That was a huge moment. I would put that... I actually put that pretty high. I put that pretty high. Just because of the magnitude, like all the storytelling that came before that just made NL so fucking difficult to deal with. Let's get the stream likes up to 200 real quick. Mayor, thanks for the 5. I'm gonna be honest, the Sanji finding out about pudding really hit me. I think that was a really, really good chapter when it came out. I think for me, Whole Cake is kind of similar to... for me, it's kind of similar to Alabasta in that I really like the arc overall. I think it doesn't have the highest highs for me in terms of like peak... like Wano has more peak chapters, I think. Namely, like Year 5th, maybe Rooftop. Roger laughed. But I think Whole Cake is very consistently very good. Kosh says, ringing the bell too, please. I don't know. I don't know if ringing the bell is in... I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be top 30 at the end of the day. I don't know if it's going to be top 30. Bell ringing for sure. I think I'm biased. I think a lot of people... I think everybody respects Skypeia a lot in retrospect. I think a lot of people feel like Skypeia is a slog when they're first getting through the story. And then just so much time passes that you forget. Like, the ringing of the bell is a really cool moment, but you're forgetting what it took to get there, which was generally a very up and down, like, or very kind of, the arc was kind of a bog to get through. So, like, even the ringing of the bell, like, I think a lot of people just wanted to go back to the Blue Sea by the end of Skypeia. It is good as a moment. JWP says that you got to start being stingy. I got to start being stingy. Ace Comeback says, yep, Morj just copying my take. Maybe. I think I got to start being stingy. I don't think the ringing of the bell is that good of a moment relative to a lot of these other ones. I think if you go look at people's reactions and stuff, I think that includes as well. I think just because people are tired of, like, honestly, people are often tired of NL as a villain by that point in time because Luffy kind of already got him round 1, and then NL kind of just, like, got away with it. And then you have to wait, like, a shit ton more episodes before you get to see, like, you already know Luffy can beat NL, so now it's just, like, we got to wait for Luffy to get through inconveniences to go do it again. So it's tricky. Skypeia is a lot better on reread. I'm not gonna put Skypeia Bell. I'm just gonna go ahead and not put Skypeia Bell. I think with Skypeia, a lot of people just forget what their actual first experience with Skypeia is like. Because if you're a One Piece fan now, Skypeia is so far removed that you just fucking forget. And then now it's just that Skypeia has so much lore implications, and now we're so excited about the lore that it kind of like skews perceptions into like, oh, Skypeia was so fucking amazing or something, which I think is not really the case. I think some moments hold up no matter what. Luffy singing the song, NL's reaction face. Nolan Kogara's a phenomenal backstory within like just being a good backstory. But I don't know if there's a singular chapter in there that I'd say is like top of the top. And yeah, from now on I'm just gonna be stingy. We're gonna be stingy with it because we really gotta get moving if we want to talk about the Luca shit. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and say chapter. We're moving to the 300s. Let's get the Streamlabs up to 200 real quick. From the 300s, I think I think Aokiji is the first really cool one. That's probably around 323. I think Aokiji. Oh no, maybe a couple back. I think the first chapter that the problem is it's like a couple chapters in a row. I don't know if the whole meeting with Aokiji is really good. I don't know if there's too many good singular chapters. I have a feeling actually Aokiji is not going to end up in the top. So I'm going to be stingy. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Luffy versus Usopp. Yeah, chapter 333, Captain. I think Captain ranks high. Very, very high. Actually, I put Captain above this. Captain this has an argument for top. This is high. Look at end of 321. I don't think it's going to be top 30 by the end of the day. How about this? We'll get through the top 30, and then you guys tell me what ones I missed, all right? And for any new viewers, we're going in order, right? Captain ranking. 3 is fair. B first. Let's see. I think I put it around there. It's Luffy versus Usopp. Arguably the most emotionally harrowing fight in the series. It is brutal. There's just nothing like this in the story. Okay, so at least 80%, about 80% of people think it's at least third. Oh, this is tricky. Okay. Some people think it should be higher. Here, a good amount of people. So I'm going to do this again. Okay. Where should Captain rank? Here we go. Should it be first, second, or third? It actually has a very strong argument for first, second, or third. I think I would personally keep it as is for myself. But I can see an argument for all of these. Okay, so it looks like we're going to put it second. Because while 37% of people say it's third, but that means 63% of people should say it should be higher than third. So we're going to go ahead and put it second. This is really tricky, though. This is very difficult. I'm going to go ahead and put it here. I think any of these three could be first. I like it. It's fine. I think it's good. All right. Moving on. I think I personally love the Aqua Laguna revival chapter. Might have gone too far. Did I go way too far? No. I personally love this chapter quite a bit. Personally really love this chapter. I don't know if people think of it as like an iconic One Piece chapter, though. I don't know if people think... Yeah. Kosh Panda says best fight in the series from an emotional point of view. I think the climax to Luffy versus Lucci hits me even harder, but because it's a follow-up, Luffy versus Lucci is essentially a sequel to the emotional storyline of Luffy versus Usopp, right? It literally ends with Luffy, Usopp, Usopp putting himself on the line for Luffy to defeat Lucci, you know? I think this might not be top 30. I think top 30, let's say no. I think 387, so I think Gear second, probably yeah, right? So 388, really. I think 388, Gear second, that's a really, really strong one. I put that one really high, honestly. It's just kind of a crazy, it's a fucking crazy chapter. I might move this up a little bit. Where do I put Gear second? Gear second is kind of crazy. I think I put it above this. Put it above this. Put it above this. I think I put Gear second here, which is maybe kind of crazy, but like, I think, you know what, Gear second, here's the tricky thing with Gear second. Most of us experienced Gear second in the anime, which is a very different experience. Gear second in the anime is a very different experience, because like, I'll say this, Gear second is the moment that One Piece catches up to other battle shonen in terms of fighting, in terms of fights and stuff that you want to see in a fucking battle shonen. It takes 387 chapters, but this is the moment that One Piece catches up, and it feels like something really cool. It's not cool in terms of its fights before this. I'm going to go ahead and put it here. But I think it's very hard to judge, because I think the anime really, really communicates how cool Gear... Like, even just the red tinge, which isn't in the manga, it's something different, you know? Alright, now next up we got... I'm going to go ahead and put this first. I think this... To me, this is just the greatest chapter in One Piece. I think this is the peak of what One Piece can be. Declaring war on the entire world. Like, literally, this is my favorite... This is the single most powerful line I think in any work of fiction that I've read. Like, do you want to declare war against the world just for the sake of one friend? I'd be happy to live with that, while yelling up at the burning flag of the entire world. And then it's followed up by this shit. I'm Frankie. I'm trying not to tear up right now. I'm putting this number 1, and this will not be disputed. This is a ban-worthy dispute. I'm just kidding. You can obviously dispute it, but it's not changing. It's not shifting. There's nothing to shift there. Can't shift perfection. I'm just kidding. There might be a couple things. Maybe the ace. I don't know. Nah. It's just there. It's there. It's just. Clyde says, "Bring it on." Yeah. Okay. So the funniest thing is, I've seen this in 3 different translations. I don't remember what the first one I read it was, but I read it in 3 different translations. Each one is amazing. So I've read it like, don't you dare to think you'd survive? Do you think you could survive having the whole world as your enemy? I've heard one of the translations be "Bring it on," which is fucking amazing. One of the translations I've heard/read is "You Want to Bet," which is also really fucking amazing. And I think this one might actually be my favorite. I'd be happy to live with that, because it's just so... It's like not even... It's like welcoming it the most out of all of the options. It's just like... I'd like give so little for shit. Like, this is totally good with me, man. Like, I don't know. I'm tearing up a little bit thinking about this chapter. This chapter's so good. All right. Continuing on. Next up, we got... for me, this is going... It's just going... You can call it bias or whatever, but it ain't like it's hell... Like, this is the ultimate shonen friendship moment. There is no shonen friendship moment. Like, if you want to define shonen friendship in a single thing, it's this chapter. It's not... It's the whole emotional storyline between Luffy and Usopp coming to a head here, and Usopp literally putting himself, like... It's not like Luffy has to save Usopp. He doesn't have to save Usopp. That's the thing. Usopp wasn't in danger a second ago. Usopp puts himself in danger. Technically, Lucci would have gone out and probably harassed them, right? But Usopp actively puts himself in danger because he has so much faith in Luffy. He knows that Luffy will not let him die. So he does it out of choice. He's like, out of choice, you have to save me right now because I know you can do it. It's so powerful considering everything that happened between Luffy and Usopp beforehand. And then it also brings together the whole Robin storyline and everything the whole crew has been through up till now with like this series of flashbacks. Like, it's just so it just puts it all together, right? It starts with Luffy and Usopp and then it floods into everything else. This is the greatest shonen action moment of all time, in my opinion. And then we're all going back together, Robin. This is going right there in number 2. And this one's also probably not changing. Again, you can call it, this is my bias, but that's just what it's going to be at the end of the day, right? All right, continuing on. All right, let's get the Streamlabs up to 200 real quick because we're getting to such good shit at this point. All right, I can't judge the Going Merry moment because I fucking missed it in my first watch through of One Piece. I didn't even fucking see the Going Merry moment. I'm going to change it to 10:15 p.m. EST. We're talking about the Luca trade just because it's going a little bit longer than I thought. All right. I don't even know where to put the Going Merry moment. That's up to you guys. I'll let you guys pick as long as it's not fucking with anything sacred, you know? Where do you guys feel like... Okay, let me give you... Here. Merry funeral chapter. I'll give you ranges. Top 5 of what we have so far. Top 10. Top 5 to 10 of what we have so far. I guess I should do 6 to 11, right? Or 6 to 10. Top 11 to 15 of what we have so far. I'll let you guys kind of figure out where you kind of want to put it. Okay, people fucking love the... All right. I'm so fucking dumb. This fucking makes me sad every time the Merry funeral comes up. Not because the funeral literally makes me sad, but because, like, I just didn't get to experience it the way everybody else did. People really fucking love this shit, huh? It looks like... Okay, let me give another range. It's of what we have so far. To be very clear, what we have so far. So if you're like, oh, there's these future chapters that are better than it, so it's like not going to be top 5, where would you put it out of current stuff? You see what I'm saying? All right, so it's at least basically top 6 to 10. How about I'll give it a ranking and then you guys tell me, right? So it's probably, I feel like it should be right about here. If I'm just thinking about it emotionally, because I think emotionally it should be stronger than any of these things, right? So I feel like if I'm just trying to put myself in the headspace of being moved by this chapter, like as if I experienced it with you all the first time, I just missed it the first time through, and it doesn't like fucking hit the same way when you're going back to, you know. I fucking spelled reminiscence wrong, didn't I? Reminiscence. This doesn't seem right. Rem-in-e. What? That's correct? Okay. Alright. I guess that's correct. Alright. Yeah. I think it should be here. Right? I think that's good. We keep it there. Alright. Moving on. I think we got nothing else here. I think we got Ace Blackbeard. I think should probably be in there somewhere. I think this is an insane chapter. To date, by the way, Ace versus Blackbeard is like the only. I think it's still like, consider this. Like, we are so deep in One Piece. This is the only like outside character non-Straw Hat fight, like 1v1 mano a mano battle that we've ever spent like an actual extended time going through, right? Like, no cutaways. There's no cutaways or anything like that. This is still like, there's so many matchups and fights that we want to see in One Piece. This is the only one that we get. Sorry, I don't mean outside Straw Hats, because obviously other stuff happen, like Kid, Law, etc. I mean outside arc stuff, you know, like stuff that's not happening with the Straw Hats storyline, you know, like cutting away. Yeah, Ace versus Blackbeard. No, it is a very, very special fight, because Oda doesn't do this, you know, like if it's not part of the Straw Hat storyline, you're not getting a fight like this, you know, like the only reason Law and Kid get the extended fights that they did in Wano is because, or in Dressrosa, is because, it's part of the Straw Hat storyline, right? Like, they're essentially honorary protagonists in that. But, like, this is the only time we're getting a cutaway like this, you know? Yeah, Garp versus Hachinosu, but that was a whole-ass raid. Like, if you add up all the panels of, like, Garp versus Aokiji, it's very minor. It's very little. And even with Garp, like, the Hachinosu raid, we cut away a lot, right? This is 2 straight chapters of just fully playing out, no cutting away. This focused on Ace versus Blackbeard because that's that big of a deal. I put this really high. Put this Ace versus Blackbeard, I put very, very high. I think it's above Gear Second. I think it's above Vivi's Adventure. I think it's above A Man's Dream. It's just a huge deal. How about this? Right? Duel on Banero Island. I think you could argue Man's Dream above. Let me give you guys a poll. Doesn't even belong here. No, this is something that like JWP brought up earlier, which I definitely agree. If you're waiting on if you're just watching One Piece One Piece reactions to see the most impactful episodes and impactful moments on One Piece, this is one. This is just one. This is like a moment that like everybody that gets to it is just watching with bated breath. Man's Dream higher. Okay, I can put Man's Dream higher, but it's not falling below Gear Second. Duel on Banaro Island, like you can just compare. Easily just reactions chapter to chapter or like episode to episode. Duel on Monaro Island is more hype for it. I think it's because maybe like now the power scale has changed so much, so we don't view Ace versus Blackbeard as that big of a deal. But like for its time, like that era, that's a huge deal, and it's still the biggest fight that we've ever had outside of a Straw Hat storyline. Yeah, it's definitely above Gear Second. It's definitely above Gear Second. I think Gear Second might actually be too high. No, Gear Second is definitely above Pirate Luffy versus God Eneru. Gear Second might be too high. I might move Gear Second here, because I think the anime gives it a bit of a boost. Alright, continuing on. We're going in order, guys. There will be time skip chapters. From this, it's pretty straightforward. It's just nothing happened. I actually sometimes get this chapter wrong. Is it 495? 494. Oh my god, 485. My fucking god, I'm an idiot. 485, that's embarrassing. I fucking forgot the chapter's not even called Nothing Happened. Yeah, this chapter, I think easy. I gotta like here. There isn't really a scene. It is a very, very uniquely crafted scene. It's the single most powerful display of the theme of loyalty that I've ever seen in any story ever. Like, it is a very, very well crafted, like a singular scene. Like, as a singular scene that hits you like that, it is very, very, very impactful. Very, very impactful. Now we're going to hit quite a run of them. I personally think chapter 500 really is a top chapter of all time, but I think a lot of people don't agree. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the Tenryubido affair, which is 502, I believe, right? Tenryubido incident. I actually don't rate the Tenryubido incident that high, but I think a lot of people do. Partly because of the way I was reading One Piece at that point in time, which was very touch and go. So I actually kind of like, I think I was skipping around a little bit because like I'd taken a break from reading the series, and so I was getting back into it. I was skipping around a little bit, and so I think I got ahead of the Tenryubido incident before I actually read it or something. I don't remember exactly what the deal was. Or I also didn't see that. I think I skipped the chapters that introduced Charlos as well. I think I'd put it around here. I think this is fair. Alright, continuing on. And then we got a good one coming up. Oh, whoops, that was one off. Here we go. God damn, this is a good era of One Piece. I personally put this above Tenryubido incident. I personally put this one like here. Oh shit, Brooks' backstory. I don't fuck with Brooks' backstory that much. I feel like it goes by way too fast, personally. Akash Panda, thanks for the 2. Please Garp intro, Dragon Reveal, Yonko, and Sky Split. I don't think those are going to be top 30, man. Like, things are stacking up, you know? We can circle back to ones that we feel like we missed. I don't think that those are going to be top... Like, there's so many heavy hitters, you know? I can put in Brook. I just don't fuck with Brooks' backstory that much. It's just very fast. To me, it's a speedrun backstory. I can put it down. Where do you guys want it? I can defer to the crowd, kind of like with Light Falling Snow. Kosh Bandis' Roger Lore chapter. I don't think that's going to be a top 30 at the end of the day. Heartless? No, there's just other ones that I really love, you know? 488. Okay, so what do you guys feel? Brook backstory. Top 1 to 5 of what we have so far. Top 6 to 10, what we have so far. Here we go. Randomizer, it says, is this just pre-time skip? We're going in order. You guys push so much for this, but you don't even want it in like the tippy top. I guess it's very hard competition-wise now. Really? You guys don't... Okay. Well, I think Brooks' backstory is... I feel like it's... Where should it go, then? JWP says, I don't think Brooks' backstory will make the final cut, to be honest. I know people really love Brooks' backstory, though. Wouldn't it at least be above, like, Duel on Bonaro Island or something like that? I kind of expected... To me, if it's, like, one that... I know it's a very popular one. I was just saying I don't really like it. I didn't know it's not going to be, like, top 10. Or I didn't know that it's going to be potentially, like, below the Vivi stuff and this stuff. I am putting stuff from Post-Timeskip. There's a lot that I like from Post-Timeskip. Yeah, okay, let's narrow it a little further. Brook backstory where? Here, let's do it. 11, 12, 13, 14. Where's it going? People dislike Brooke's backstory a lot, huh? What the fuck? Why are we? I thought Brooke's backstory is really loved. What do you guys? Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it at 14 and call it a day. The hell? I thought it was really loved. I personally assumed that you guys would have it like a lot higher. Okay, continuing on. All right. We did Saboti shit. Saboti shit. Impel. The problem with Marineford is there's just too much. Impel Down has some crazy shit too. If we're really just going for top 30, I just got to start tightening, right? I got to start tightening. So I might just put Ace's death and then Shanks showing up to stop the war. Those are the big ones from Marineford. Marineford's a very tight window, right? Very tight window. So let's see. Ace's death is like 573. This is the iconic panel, most iconic panel in One Piece. I would put it. This is huge. It's just the moment that breaks One Piece, right? Whitebeard's death is actually stronger to me than Ace's death, so I'm going to personally be skewed towards that. There's just not much that needs to be explained here, right? It's just, this is the moment. Like, everything that they fought for in this war, Luffy, like, it all just happens right here, right? The death of Port Castiace, I think that this chapter is... I think it's a very strong chapter. It doesn't move me that much emotionally. I don't know why. Sometimes you just don't know why. For me, the death of Whitebeard moves me more emotionally. I'm gonna go ahead and put... I don't know where we should put Ace's, like, the actual death chapter of Ace. I think that's up to a lot of different people. I think Whitebeard's death chapter... I personally put Whitebeard's death chapter, like, here. What's it called? Where would you guys like me to put Ace's death chapter? Like the chapter where the death of Port Castiace. Larcisa says Ace's death gets me on every time on reread, but not so much emotionally first time. Interesting. It does get me more on reread as well. I think I wasn't vibing with Ace's character as much during Marineford, interestingly. And a lot of it, the emotion I'm feeling here is shock and complexity. Like, not complexity, but like complex emotions. Okay, let's see what... Death of Port Castiace chapter. Not where Akainu punches him. Next chapter with the flashbacks. It's just of what we have so far. All right. Alabasta does do a lot for him, the filler. It does do a lot. Okay. Oh wait. Yeah. Let me show here. All right, looks like it's around balancing out to the middle of the bell curve, so we will be putting it in the 6 to 10 range. I'm going to pick it is a really fucking important chapter. I feel like what do readers feel, by the way? Do you guys feel like 513 or 502 is stronger? What's stronger? What should be higher? 513 or 502? 502 punch CD. 513 lose crew. Which one of these two do you feel like should be stronger? Should be higher? Because I kind of just made the call myself. Cash Bandit's first Marineford chapter. I don't know if that's going to be top 30, though. I'm just being picky now. Okay. 513 lose crew. Okay. So I'm good with that then. Well, then what about 513 versus this Ace chapter? 513 versus 574. What's worse? Luffy lose crew or Luffy lose Ace? 513 versus 574. Lose crew or Ace death flashbacks. Missing supers? I'm sorry, let me get that. Thanks. Oh shoot, let me catch these. Factory Cat, thanks for the 5. What's your criteria for greatest chapter? Are we considering greatest moments within a chapter or cohesion/structure throughout the chapter? Chapter 398? So, like, chapter 398 had it from start to finish, right? So I'm trying to not do just greatest moments. So, but generally chapters, like the Ace Akainu chapter, right? Like the 573 that I got right here. Ultimately, it is just the moment. But the build up to the moment matters as well, right? So usually chapters that have a great moment, like chapters that have a great moment, there's generally the chapter is structured well to build up to that moment too, you know. It's tricky because you could argue. No, yeah, it's tricky. Like, I think in terms of greatest overall, we're just saying like what chapter is most impactful, and you can go by different things based on like emotion, shock value, how much it changed or affected the story or the arc, just how memorable it is. It's a loose interpretation. We don't have time to get into all the criteria, and a lot of it's just going to be skewed towards my preferences, you know? Okay, so 574. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put Ace's thing. I'm going to go ahead and put Ace's thing, like, I feel like I want to put it, if for me, I'm putting it, like, here. But I feel like people will get mad if I do that. I'll put Ace's thing here. All right, and now moving on. I think the next big one is like, there's the stopping the war, right? This is a pretty crazy chapter. I think this is a pretty crazy moment. I don't know if it's gonna be in the top 30 at the end of it. Seconds of Courage. I'll throw it in there somewhere. I think it's cooler than this. Actually, I think it's cooler than... Nah, I don't know. I think that goes in there somewhere. I think Luffy remembering his Nakama is huge. I might do some rearranging after this. I think I might do some rearranging. Continuing on. Keenan, good to see you, man. Thanks for being a Yonko tier member for so long, man. Good to see you. Bro, you're not going to have time for Luca unless you want to stream till midnight. Also, nothing happened top 5. I got nothing happened top 5. Don't worry, it's there. I called it nothing happened, but it should actually not be called that. I just called it that by accident. Yeah. Okay, continuing on. Yeah, I don't know if stuff down here will make it because we're getting really competitive now, right? Gum Diesel, thanks for 507 and 550. 507, Roger Lore, good stuff, but I don't know if it'll make it. 550, Start of the War, good stuff, but like we got to be tight now, you know? Like we got 600 chapters to go. 500 chapters to go, sorry. No, 500 chapters to go, sorry. All right, continuing on. You could argue that I'm going to leave out the time skip chapter. What's really good after this? 600s I don't think have anything. I think the 600s have literally nothing, right? Literally nothing. So then we get to Dressrosa. I would argue Senor Pink's chapter. I don't think I would confidently say anything in Dressrosa, even. This might be crazy. For me personally, you guys can debate Law's backstory if you want to put it somewhere. For me personally, this is my next pick. I think this is an amazing chapter. This is not talked about enough, in my opinion. But I got this chapter really fucking high. I kind of have this chapter, like, here. Oh, whoops. I don't know why I said that. Dog versus cat. Kind of got it there. Kaido introduction. Oh yeah. Fuck yeah. Oops, wrong one. One back. Yeah. Kaido introduction. I'm also gonna be like a bit more like I'm just gonna be picking shit myself now. Yeah. Anything big? Thank you. I think I need to do some rearranging because some of this just doesn't feel right to me. I think feel good with this. I might have this too high. I think I feel comfortable putting this here. I think I have this one too high. It's really epic for its time. These other moments matter more in the grand scheme of things. I gotta redo some stuff. Akash Panda, thanks for 2. Blood sharing, Lockhart, Spuck Hazard, Sabo, Gearforth, Dofi speech. None of those things really make top 30. Blood sharing, Law cutting, Punk Hazard, Sabo, there's nothing special to that reunion. Gear Fourth. Gear Fourth was cool. Gear Fourth was cool. I don't know if it's going to be making... Because I could put it, but I don't know if it's going to make it in the long run, because already I'm seeing a lot of things are just going to be slipping soon. Dofi speech. Doflamingo's speech is important. Let's look at 801. I think Doflamingo's speech does make the cut. That's a crazy chapter. Opening speech. Let's see. Opening speech. I thought it's called opening declaration, but whatever. Bunfagun, thanks for 2. Please consider 949 Luffy's best moment in Wano. I don't think it's a top 30 moment in the series, though. I think it's like top 10 in Wano, but that doesn't make it top 30 in the series. JP, thanks for the 10. Chapter 731, I'll never forget. Chapter 731, the 3 cards chapter, was insane. One of the hypest One Piece chapters of all time. I could put that in there. I think that's actually the maybe the epitome of like Oda doing, like, knocking it out of the park with like One Piece's chaoticness all in one chapter. And like plot twist after plot twist. I can put 731 in there. I would put 731. I don't know, but the thing is, I think these other moments are more iconic though. At the end of the day, I don't think 731. I think it's not worth putting because I don't think it'll make it in the top 30. All led into. I thought 730 is that one, and then 731 has Sabon Call is revealed. Okay, Kiara, thanks for the 5. I think Queen might be part of the Gods Knights. That would be interesting, but I just don't know how that would actually happen or take place. There's still clone possibilities with all this. Also, let's get the stream likes to 250 real quick. Almighty Lambo, thanks for the 5. What do you think about 298? Luffy ringing the bell of Chandra, one of my favorite chapters, but I can see it if you don't get it for top 30. I just don't think it's top 30. I don't think it's top 30. Top 30 is tight. JWB, thanks for the 5. I do like that moment, but at the end of the day, I think that Skypeia is an arc that a lot of people look at with rose-tinted glasses. The arc was kind of a slog to get through, and I don't remember the moment being that cathartic at that point in time, just because it took so long to get to. And Luffy already fucking had NL once already. You got inconvenienced. You got to do the whole thing again. It's good in retrospect, and we can just go back and think about the meaning of the chapter, but I don't think it's that powerful in the flow of things. JWP, thanks for the 5. If you're looking for Dressrosa/Zo, I would say Corazon Death, Grand Fleet Forming, Kaido intro. I got Kaido's intro in there. I don't know about Corazon's death. I think a lot of those death scenes from flashbacks are being bumped lower down the list, it looks like, as we go on. All right. We're going to go through the big ones, and then we can slowly start incorporating some other ones. I think Luffy Sanji, I think that's a big one. That'd be, what, like 843, maybe 844? 844. I think 844 is in there. I personally got 844 around... I got it around this range. I felt like the problem I felt was that I just felt like it was a little bit of a contrived conflict. It's still good though. Like Luffy versus Usopp is very real and personal. Like that is actually Usopp's feel. Like with Sanji, it's an act that he's having to play up, and like, Luffy's literally like, I know that's not how you actually feel. With Luffy and Usopp, it's more like this is truly them falling out. Like. Because Usopp truly from the bottom of his heart is like insecure with his place with the Straw Hats and no longer feels like he has feelings of actual resentment. Sanji still loves Luffy. Well, Usopp still loves Luffy there obviously as well, but like Sanji doesn't want, like the difference is Sanji doesn't want to leave the crew versus Usopp has decided like I actually need to do that. Like this is, I'm done with these guys basically because they're done with me is what he thinks. I think 844 I guess here. I don't know. This shit's so tricky now. I don't like how this range looks. I feel good about this range. I don't like how this range looks. It doesn't feel right. 44 Luffy versus Sanji. Okay, we're getting up there now. I don't think there's anything else from Whole Cake that I would confidently say makes it. I think maybe Snake Man versus Katakuri I think is a phenomenal chapter. I think it's the best choreographed fight scene in One Piece. Outside of actually maybe 842 of Luffy versus Kaido. What do you guys think about Snake Man? VV says, why is 427 so high? And Denizen saying, yeah, I don't know why 427 is so high. You may have forgotten what that chapter was. The greatest shonen battle climax in history. Without question. Not just Luffy beats Lucci. Usopp gives the speech. It ain't like it's hell here. Read the title. It ain't like it's hell here. Into the ultimate cathartic battle climax. There's no shonen fight that ends better than this. This is the peak of shonen fight endings. There's nothing better than this. There's no climax that's better written than this, better executed to communicate the powers of friendship, of catharsis, of just overcoming sheer adversity. There's nothing closer to this. No other series. No shonen series. No seinen series. Nothing. It's this. This is the pinnacle of that type of writing. It's the peak. When you're the peak of a certain type of writing, you're going to be top 3. Remix King, thanks for the 2. When you talk about Luca, check Twitter DMs. I don't know if we're going to get to Luca, man. Let's see. Do you guys think Snake Man? I think we can put Snake Man in. I think Snake Man couldn't get to spot. I think 894 or 896. Whoops. Oh my god, we got a really good run of things with coming up to. It might be 895. Yeah. Sheer action from start to finish. Oda really doesn't do chapters like this. I think 895 makes it. It's just fucking hard. At this point. Because now we gotta get the fucking Reverie. And this shit. I'm just gonna go ahead and go with Emu's chapter introduction. Insane shit. Emu's introduced. Yada yada. Emu's introduced. I'm gonna go ahead and put it here. This is very difficult. I think Kaido beating Luffy the first time has an argument in there. I think I'm just gonna go for the heavy hitters now. That I'm like, I know that's in there. I'm just gonna go with that mentality. I know it's in there, and we go from there. I think that's the only way to really do it from here. I have to be able to say I know it's in there. Because now we're at just, yeah, this is Roger Laughed, right? Here we go. Because there's just too much. Roger's Adventure. That's high. It's 944 called. Oh, sorry, it's 1044. 1044. Where's the chapter title? Warrior of Liberation. Should have known that. I think you could argue it. I think there's no question that these two chapters are bigger for One Piece. No question that these two are bigger. You could argue that I think you could make a very strong argument. No, it's not. No question. You could argue it for number one. You could argue it for number one. I think you'd have a strong argument for anywhere top three. I personally put it here just for emotional reasons, right? So like, but this is still. I think it's no question top five. I think strong argument. Like if you said it should replace one of these three, I wouldn't be like, oh, that's insane. Um, if you wanted to argue it at number one, I could see that at number one. It's just so outside the box. It's very, very, and there's so much significance to it. You can't really go wrong with how you rank it, I think. I think you can't rank it at top five. Bun for Gum, thanks for the 2. 957, 1010, 1060, 1102, 1096. I thought about 1010. I don't think 1010 quite makes it. Let me think about 1060. That's the Emu blows up stuff chapter. I don't know if that makes it. I think Kuma's chapter I want to put in. That's the next confident chapter I want to put in there. Yeah, 1096, so the Genie chapter, and then 1102. Those are the confident ones. 1096 and 1102. 1096, 1102. I personally put 1096 very high. $11.02 could drop lower pending future results. At this moment in time, I got it. Fuck, at this moment, it's very, very, very good in theory. It's at least I feel blasphemous removing anything from this squad. I feel blasphemous pulling anything. It just feels wrong. I know I'm not bumping you. This one, I feel like other people don't feel as strongly as I do, so I'm willing to lower it a little bit. Not bumping you. I don't think I can bump you. I feel like you've gone low enough. I don't think I can put Gear 5th out of top 5, though. I don't think I can put Gear 5th out of top 5. This is too hard, man. There's too many good chapters. $10.10 I should put in there. I gotta put $10.10 in there. Sorry, I should put $10.10 in there. Color of Supreme King. I'd put it around here. I think I put this a bit too high. I don't know where the fuck to put 1102. It's a really fucking good chapter. It's really good. Odin's death chapter I kind of want to include too. That's a really good one. Let's get that in. It's 972, right? The thing is, Odin's chapters, it's over 2 chapters, right? So I don't really know where to put it, because he boils in the first one. I'll just put the first one. How about I put the first one? I don't know where to put 1102. Here, I'm gonna move Whitebeard up. I said we can't move this shit, but we just got at a certain point. I'll move Gear 5th above this, even though I feel like that's not correct. I just feel like I can't take Gear 5th out of the top 3. Or top 5. But this is just a better chapter. It's just better writing. I'm gonna go ahead and put 1102 here. Kuma's life, right? I feel like Kuma's life could be above... What's higher, Kuma's life or Zora's Nothing Happened? The thing with Kuma's life is a lot depends on what actually happens as the fallout. If Kuma does eventually meet his demise, then I would confidently put it even higher. Because I'm tentative right now, I'm thinking about, do I put it lower, you know? Okay, I can move Kuma's life up. Kuma's life is really, really good. Alright, moving on. I think that was the best that we got from there. And then, now we reach 1138, right? There's nothing else really after that. 1138. At this moment in time, I would put 1138 somewhere around... It's just insane. I'd put 1138 around here. Maybe just because I'm too tired to think about stuff that deeply anymore. Wait 1 second. Okay. So here's what I got. Joy Boy Hockey chapter, Gorosei Summoning chapter. Are those top 30 all time? Let's see. Okay. So... I think some of these should be higher than they are. I want to move this higher. I think some of these should be higher. Some of these are really iconic chapters. I think Dog vs. Cat is a really a me pick. I think that most people wouldn't have Dog vs. Cat that high. I think the Song of Life should be higher up here. And I'm not even like a huge Brook person. I think that should be higher. I think Seconds of Courage is a bigger deal than this. This is... I don't fucking know. This would actually take too long to do a proper... Because I'm trying to separate my bias versus like what do I like best. If you guys want to see a version where I just rank it the way I want it, here, let me just do a version where I rank it the way I want it, right? This is my favorite One Piece chapters of all time. Morj's favorites. All right, this is me saying what I think are the best. Okay, what I think are the best are basically in order for me. This is basically it. All right, and then we can revisit the first sheet, but I think this is a really good collection of chapters. It's really fucking hard to pick 30, and it's so hard to like. How do you even rate some of these against some of these? I don't know. If I'm doing my rating, right, I would say my favorites are basically in order. This is definitely there. If it's anime, if we were going by the anime, then this is my favorite episode of One Piece. The manga is not quite as powerful. It just can't be. So if we're going on my favorites, I think I got this at number 2. I think I got, the shock of this right here. I think I got this right here. I don't fucking know. I think I'd have that there. I think I'd still keep this here. I think I'd keep this here. I'd lower this significantly. There's just some that leave for me. This goes up. This goes up. This goes a lot lower. This goes a lot lower. I'm not even paying attention exactly where I'm putting these. This one never hit me that hard. This one never hit me that hard. This one goes up. This one goes down. It's too hard. For me, actually, there's a lot of chapters that are my favorite chapters that we'd have to go back and actually put it. Ignore my ranking. Because I wasn't even paying attention where I was dragging some down. I just know that there's some that are not my favorites that, like this, they aren't that big of a deal to me. But then there's some surprising ones that I would put in here, like chapter 500. That's one of my favorite chapters. A lot of my favorite it's too hard. Actually, ignore this. We didn't even get close to figuring out my favorites because it's generally too hard to. I would actually have to do a totally different list to see my favorites. I think for the sake of this is roughly it. This is roughly what we're working with. It's genuinely fucking impossible to rate this properly. If somebody said that they've got Roger's Adventure like here, I'd be like, that's a perfectly reasonable take, you know? Like even if a lot of people said that. If a lot of people said A Man's Dream should be like, I think A Man's Dream is way too low. I just don't even know how it got down this low. I think because I said that it's not that impactful early on. I think that Reverie Begins, I put it preemptively too high. I think I'm missing stuff. This is just very difficult. This is very, very difficult. This is very, very difficult. Yeah, you need a long time to figure this out. We should have done a 5-hour stream to figure this one out. It's really hard to do it. No chapter 1. You think chapter 1 can compete with some of this shit? No, it's not even close. All right. Monkey 556 says you ignored 902 and does beautiful writing. It has really good writing. I don't think it tops, like, as an arc send-off, I don't think it tops Vivi's Adventure, and Vivi's Adventure is all the way down here. So it's just like, at a certain point, I was just going with, like, the top choices. Top choices, basically, like, clear best choices. Man's Dream is definitely way too low. Yeah. Brandon King says, makes the stream promising to rank the series best chapters, doesn't rank the series best chapters. It was too hard. I couldn't do it. There's too many. And it's like, how do I even compare? And plus, some of this is like anime influence versus manga. So like, I think 427, I think the anime, it's my favorite anime episode of One Piece by far. Favorite anime episode, anime scene of any series ever. It's actually this. It's this episode. It's the episode where this happened. The manga is not quite as powerful because it doesn't have the music, the voice acting, stuff like that. It's one of those cases where the anime is stronger than the manga, even though usually I think the manga is stronger. Thank you so much. I'm going to wrap up here soon. All right, we didn't really get any time to talk about Luca. Do you guys want to talk about Luca for 5 minutes? And if I was redoing this, a lot of the emotional chapters would rank higher, like the conclusion to Nami's backstory, conclusion to just some of the backstory conclusions would rank higher. I did not talk about Luca. I'm talking about Luca now. We are now talking about Luca. All right. What do you all think happened? I've heard theories that it's I'm down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole now, because I personally think this. I'm going with the deep theory, which is that, like, I've heard some people say that it's like the Mavs ownership wants to move the franchise somehow from Dallas to Vegas so that they can add a casino to their arena, and that will make them the most money long term. So they're hoping to almost tank their whatever they have with the fan base here and just get the whole franchise moved. Now, I've heard that that's a very difficult thing to do, and that's not that easy. The bigger thing, the owners are planning to build a casino. That's the only thing that really makes sense, because there's genuinely no reason for, like, from a basketball perspective, because even if you think that, like, the way Luka is, like, in terms of the conditioning, etc., like, their plan was clearly building around Luka. Like, they're adding pieces that strengthen Luka, right? Like, Klay Thompson was added this year. Like, they've been adding pieces. Like, they've been shoring up what went wrong with the finals last year. Like, they already had a really, really, like, they did well last year, like, making it to the finals with that roster. With Luka injured, they lost 4-1, but they made adjustments that make them arguably definitely even stronger this year, so they can just run it back. And they might not even be facing the Celtics in the finals, right? Like, you've got such a solid shot, and they've built around him for so long. There's no rational reason to do it. Because if you're trading him away, the team that they have now is still actually a very good team. It's still actually a very, very good team. It's a scary team. It's defensively, is it the best team in the NBA now? Maybe that's an exaggeration, but defensively, it's a very strong team now. It is a very strong team now, but what you're losing so much just doesn't make sense, because let's say your chances of winning a championship with Luka were already, like, decent. Like, you, like, over the next few years, like, let's say the next 4-year window, you have, like, a something percent, like, an actual, you're on the table. Like, you've got a solid chance of maybe winning a championship one of those years. Maybe not this year, maybe next year, maybe even the year after, you don't know. Let's say making this trade with the Mavs already in, like, the fucking double digits in their seeding or whatever. Let's say with this trade, you manage to balance things out just right so that you're still the exact same percent chance as winning as you had with Luka, right? Let's pretend that's the case, right? Let's say the chances, you keep the exact same percentage chance, which in reality it went down, but let's say you keep it. It's still a terrible decision, because you just traded away the player that is actually bringing in tickets and jersey sales and actually making revenue for your franchise, right? So the only reason it makes sense, I've got two conspiracy theories, okay? One is the Las Vegas thing. You have, like, ultimately these NBA franchises, they're businesses, so you are losing so much revenue trading away Luka. It's almost like even if they won a championship, from a business perspective, it's possible they don't even, like, they're still, like in terms of the ticket sales that get returned or, like, the people boycotting, etc., it's possible that even if you win a championship, it just about balances out monetarily to what you had, like, in terms of the goodwill that you're earning back, in terms of what you had with, like, trade. Because, like, people got obsessed with, like, the city of Dallas loves Luka, right? They like, this is what you built the whole franchise around for so long. So either it's the casino thing. There's the possibility that he's just a terrible GM, that he's genuinely that bad of a GM, and personally he hates Luka. That's a possibility. But it's just such a silly possibility. It's like, I guess that's possible, right? I mean, that's technically the story that we're all having to roll with. But the other conspiracy theory I have, I think, like, what has been the talk in the NBA for so long now, right? The talk about the NBA for so long is, like, how do we get another face of the league? Like, it's the NBA is in fucking panic mode with LeBron, Steph, KD all leaving, right? It is in panic mode. Adam Silver is terrified of the NBA, the rating situation. The ratings are going down. All the best new players are foreigners. There's the storylines keep changing. There's no consistent winners, etc. You could say there's flaws with the game or whatever. I disagree with that. I think there's flaws with how it's presented and how much they're trying to cash grab things so much. You okay? Okay. But I think the league is terrified of not having a clear face of the league in the future. I genuinely think that there is a possibility, because this deal happened so backdoored, I think there's genuinely a possibility that, like, this was fucking orchestrated, backdoor, super under the table, will never get out. Moves were made, strings were pulled, not by, like it was taken almost, like, obviously certain, whoever, the owners, etc., GM, like, people were compensated for this. I genuinely think that the move of sending Luka Doncic over to the Lakers, that is the single, like, if you had to just pick something that would revitalize the NBA in the future, it's giving the Los Angeles Lakers, which are by far the flashiest, most popular market in the NBA available, like in existence, right? Who by themselves carry a huge portion of the NBA fan base. Give the centerpiece of the NBA world the most, like, the superstar who is in his prime, who's probably the most marketable in terms of personality and gameplay style, which is Luka Doncic. You could argue Anthony Edwards, and it helps that Anthony Edwards is American, but Anthony Edwards, like, the difference is that Luka Doncic is a player that's pretty much guaranteed to be making the Lakers highly relevant for the next decade. Anthony Edwards is still a diamond in the rough, right? But Luka just dragged the team to the NBA Finals. If the NBA, like, literally think about it, there's nothing better for the NBA right now than the idea of, like, Luka Doncic playing with LeBron James in Los Angeles, and then LA having a Kobe-esque star like Luka with that type of potential playing there with his play style for the next 10 years, who is guaranteed to be able to make the Lakers relevant for the next 10 years, right? I know that is an absurd thing to say, but it is like fucking God reached out to the NBA, to Adam Silver, and was like, here is something that will guarantee a very, very, like, a heavily invested fan base, right? A very, like, a superstar in the place of stars, right? Like, just so much comes together with this for the NBA. Like, when was the last time the NBA made ripples like this news-wise in the general world, you know? I don't know. Ender Anami says the fact that conspiracy theories are the only rational explanation of this trade is very telling, lol. Yeah. Savage J says they said two GMs didn't tell anybody and they've been talking for 3 weeks. Yeah, but, like, GM, like, I can understand why this is good for Rob Pelinka, but it's like, unless Harrison is legitimately an insane, stupid person, this just doesn't happen, even if they've been talking for 3 weeks. I would not be surprised if there was something else to it, and just saying, well, they've been talking to each other under the table or whatever for the last few weeks is, like, the simplest way to spin it without it seeming crazy, right? Fading Phase says, and it'll rejuvenate the Lakers versus Celtics rivalry. It does so many things, it's insane. It even helps that Luka's a white guy, probably, like, to some degree, right? Like, it's just... It does so many things. Because if you're looking at the field of prospective superstars in the next generation right now, you have Jokic, he could easily be the face of the league, but he doesn't have the personality for it, right? He doesn't have personality for it. Giannis he has a good personality, etc. He's still foreign, but he's kind of known as, like, the run and dunk guy. He's not the guy, like, nobody's, like, imagining themselves play like Giannis, right? Like, you generally, like, for face of the NBA type stuff, like, you want a Jordan or a Kobe or, like, a Bird, or, like, even LeBron, like, even though he's got so many physical gifts, he can be, like, he's such a great passer and everything. Like, there's stuff to LeBron's play style. Steph Curry, obviously the most emulated player of today. Giannis and Jokic don't really fit that, right? Shea people don't fucking like. Wemby's just an alien, right? Very, very exciting, but also personality-wise not the flashiest dude, right? Anthony Edwards, he's got that potential, right? That's why people want him to be the next Jordan. That timeline for that is still some time away, and it's a lot of ifs on if he develops into it. Luka's the one star in the NBA right now that has everything. He is top 3 in the league, top 5 at worst, right? Jason Tatum's lame as fuck. He could never be this, right? But top 3, top 5 at worst in the league, right? A flashy, fun play style, very charismatic, really likes to get the crowd into it. Like, he's a crowd pleaser. He's just got so much going for him in that sense. He's known as a clutch player, Luka Magic. Like, there's all sorts of trick shots, all of that stuff. You move him to LA. He's a type of player that can drag any franchise into the playoffs, deep into the playoffs by himself. Like, it just does so much for the league. Like, people are talking about, like, we got the next Kobe. Like, that's what they're saying. It's not just LA that got the next Kobe. The transitioning Luka to LA is giving the league the next Kobe. Not in terms of, like, results. We don't know what his results will be, but in terms of the potential and attention and personality that we got there. Let me answer some supers about this real quick. Luka is Lakers' plan for LeBron's retirement. I really want to see how Luka and LeBron play together. I'm very, very interested to see how that works. Very interested. Almighty Lambo, thanks for the 2. This is like trading LeBron for Amari after 2007. I didn't watch the NBA that far back, so I actually don't have an opinion on that. But okay, so Amari Stoudemire would be like the equivalent of Anthony Davis in this case. You could kind of imagine that. Meek, thanks for the 5. Yeah, in 2007 too, when LeBron it's such a strong parallel. LeBron had just brought them to the finals. It's just insane. Meek, thanks for the 5. You think this set up by the league for a Luka Lakers versus Tatum Celtics rivalry? I honestly think that, like, we, the common man, will never know what goes on deep in the shadows with these business dealings. We don't know to what degree strings are pulled. We don't even know how much of this shit is rigged ref-wise. There's so many times that fans see shit happening where the fans are like, this is clearly rigging, this is clearly the refs doing blah, 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 blah. And you know what? Some percentage of the time, we might actually be right. We'll just literally never know. The league denies it, covers it up for however long, and then at a certain point, you just move on. You're like, okay, I guess nothing happened, right? This is very extreme. The interesting thing is that it only really required a very small, if the league really wanted to keep it as tight as possible, it requires a very small number of people to be in the know. Very small, because it happens so backdoor, so secretive. Very small number of people, likely some major compensation going on for, and it's new owners too, right? It's not Mark Cuban or anything like that that's happening. Like, we don't know what new owners might be open to. Mark Cuban would fucking blab if some shit like this was happening to his team. But we don't know, right? Corrupt new owners, whatever. Like you got to understand that for the NBA, this is like $1 billion sort of win for them in the long term. Luka Doncic in Los Angeles is like $1 billion win for them. This is something that potentially the league has no sort of face, no sort of star, no sort of center of its universe. Like, it didn't have that going forward. Doing this gives it something like that. And again, I'm not talking about just in terms of play, right? Luka's not the best player in the league right now. He could maybe develop into that, but it's just the attention that, everything that comes narratively with being in LA and being that guy there, it just changes so much. This is like the amount of revenue this could make the NBA long term, or amount it helps the ratings, all of that cannot be. And especially having him play with LeBron James, who is the most popular player already in LA, the most popular franchise, who desperately want a new superstar because they're used to having superstars there, right? It does so much for the league. I could imagine the league having paid off some select group of people who are involved in this insane amounts of money because it's just a business investment. I genuinely think I think out of the 3 options, which is either the GM is that stupid, B, it's something related to attempting to move the franchise to Vegas and casino stuff. I think that's understandably possible. Or C, the league pulled some strings, because ultimately this is the best. There's nothing, I can't imagine anything better happening for the league. The other really good thing could be Steph Curry to the Lakers, right? Steph and LeBron playing together in LA. That's the other wet dream of the NBA. But even that is arguably not as good as this, because that's a short-term Band-Aid. It's a very short-term Band-Aid solution, because Steph and LeBron will be out of the league in the next few years. And even together at their age right now, I don't know at their age right now if the two of them together could, if they've got enough motor to do deep finals runs or whatever. With Luka, he will injured drag a decent team, like a good team, deep into the playoffs, potentially to the finals, depending on what is competition, the matchups, etc. Right? It just guarantees, it for the moment, it's got the superstar power of Luka and LeBron playing together in LA, which is amazing, does wonders for the league. Just how much traction has this trade already gotten? like outside the NBA world, like just everybody's talking about it. This is the storyline that will have people invested in this season and definitely next season. So short-term amazing solution. And then just having LA have a star that's relevant for the next 10 years and like is consistently a superstar MVP caliber player for the next 10 years. That does wonders for the league's ratings for so long. I think this helps the NBA the most out of anything. Like, who does help Dallas the most, help the Lakers the most? It helps the NBA. It gives them storylines. I haven't watched the NBA in weeks. I'm going to fucking tune in the next several games. Like, I'm going to be watching this team very closely. A lot of people are. JP, thanks to the 5. This trade was like if Whitebeard's crew traded Luka for Marco AD. It would depend on the age. I think it would be like trading Ace. Like, it would be like trading Ace at Marineford age to Kaido's crew for Jack. That would be what it's like. Yeah, that would be what it's like. Shea just isn't very likable. I used to shit on Shea a lot because I didn't watch him that much, and I just didn't like his personality and the vibes that he gave off and like all of that, and then the way he played very foul baity. But then this last playoffs, I was watching the Mavs in the playoffs, and I was rooting for the Mavs this playoffs. Okay? I was initially rooting for the Nuggets, and then I was really rooting for the Mavs. I was kind of rooting for them both. Because I didn't believe in the Lakers. Once the Lakers are out, obviously I'm going to root for the LeBron and the Lakers first and foremost, but once they're out, then it was like, okay, Nuggets, Mavs, one of these two teams, right? So I was rooting for the Mavs. During that matchup, I think you grow to respect players when your team has to play them, and they instill fear in you. I know every time I want to disrespect Shea because I'm like, he's a bitch and he plays this way or whatever, I then recall the fear that I felt when the Mavs were playing the Thunder this last playoffs. And it started to it felt like Shea could not miss from mid-range at points. Important points. He wasn't choking. In the fourth of several games, he was just so fucking consistent and reliable. It was automatic. It was terrifying. I was just like, all right, I don't know how we're fucking scoring this possession, but I know Shea's gonna fucking score next possession, and then we'll have to figure some shit out after that, and then Shea's gonna score next possession, and we just need to keep figuring out a way to score because that dude's always gonna fucking score. It was terrifying. I was happy any possession they did not give the ball to Shea. So I can set aside my bias and just be like, that dude is just a very scary good player. But I don't like him. Yeah, it's just when a player scares you, then you're like, okay, I just have to respect him. I don't know. I think... Hold on. What happened with Luka trade? GM is that dumb. Vegas/casino conspiracy. Adam Silver pulled strings conspiracy. Adam Silver conspiracy. I personally think, I'm leaning. It's not. I think that there's something behind the scenes that we'll just never know. Or Luka just did something that just I saw some people joking Luka fucked the GM's wife or something like that, or something that insane. The Adam Silver conspiracy has got some support. A lot of people. The fact that it's not even over 50% of people saying that it's the GM is that dumb, and a good number of people are genuinely believing, a majority actually believe it's a conspiracy of some sort, just speaks volumes. 80 even old, yeah, 80 is not that old. I think it's basically trading Ace in his prime, Pirate King potential, to Big Mom's crew for Cracker or some shit. Or, and it's Cracker's no slouch. Cracker's a fucking impressive fighter, but he doesn't have the potential Ace does, If we get the Lakers-Celtics rivalry again, with LeBron and Luka playing on one side versus Jason Tatum and them, oh my God. It's just that the Lakers suck right now until they get it big. They need to shore up the holes that they just created. I don't know. All right, everybody. Almighty Lambo says this is the wildest thing to happen since KD joined the Warriors. Yeah, and the thing with KD to the Warriors is that was even that was a discussed thing. It was in the realm of possibility. It was more just would KD do that? No, KD's not going to do that. But there were rumors about KD to the Warriors in that season. I remember it was just KD's not going to do that. This is just like, it's not even a hype. It just doesn't make, it's not a real thing. Like, if you were to ask people what's the craziest trades you could imagine, they just wouldn't even list something like this because it doesn't fall in the realm of like realistic things that could happen, you know? Like somebody was saying like stars never get traded for other stars, right? Because like usually you want to hold on to your star and just focus on what you've been doing and keep building around them, right? Stars don't get traded for other stars. This is a superstar. Like Luka is top 3. Like star is an understatement, right? Like star is an understatement. Considering what Luka is, you don't trade top 3 MVP in his prime like that. Like you just don't do that shit, you know? Because if I'm thinking about like top 5 best players in the NBA, in my opinion, it is right now Jokic, Giannis. I think Luka. I think some combination of this is just in general, right? If you were to ask me like for one playoff series, I would go with I'd go with some of the guys that were some of the people who showed during the Olympics that if it's for a short period of time, they're still the best players, at least in the U.S. But if we're saying overall, I would say my top 5 right now, nothing crazy, similar to many people. Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and then some combination of, I don't even know if I put Embiid in there anymore. I think Shea's in there. I hate to put Tatum. I think Tatum's supposed to technically be in there. I'm going to leave it there so I don't have to include Tatum. But out of the best players, right? Like all the people you would say are the best, right? Like out of the top 10 players, unless you got Wemby in there already. Some people already have Wemby in there. But like top 6, 7 best players in the world, like top 5 at least, Luka's the youngest. And he just dragged the team to the final. Like it just makes no sense. All right, so majority of people think it's a conspiracy. It's just divided on what conspiracy it is. All right, Ignorant Weed, thanks for being a Pirate King tier member for 16 months. Make sure to get your submission in. Pirate King podcast submissions are open. It is a podcast that I do for an hour to an hour and a half where I answer every question very, very, very in-depth. And it can be about One Piece, other anime, other manga, movies, real life, everything. I missed the best leader stream. BTW, I'm not saying he should be higher, but Luffy's greatest strength as a leader is knowing how to surround himself with people who can do what he can't. That's true. That is Luffy's greatest strength. It's just that in real life, because it's more so by real life leadership standards, you know? In real life, that's a great strength for a leader to have, but a leader also just needs above like an 80 IQ, you know? So it's good. Like, it's not like Luffy has no strengths. It's just that his strengths in real life would be so drastically outweighed by the fact that he's no longer in a cartoon world, where everything just happens to luckily play out for him, that he would be fucked up. Raul, thanks a lot. Who's your favorite OnlyFans creator? Love from Tijuana, dude. Miss you on the Wana report. That's funny. Wana report's been a while, so I can't believe you've been following for that long. Hold on, my Alexa timer's going off. I gotta take something out of the oven. I'll be right back. Javon Johnson, I'll answer you as soon as this is done, and then after that, I do think I gotta call stream because I gotta eat food. Okay. Javon Johnson, thanks for the 5. There's no way this isn't the most corrupt thing to ever happen in sports. Maybe. Maybe. We don't know. It might be the most corrupt thing. We don't know. Okay. All right, everybody. I think we're going to call it here. I did not have to get it out of the oven. My girlfriend did go get it out of the oven, so I was allowed to sit back down. I don't have any other thoughts on this other than, like, the funny thing is that, like, the Mavericks objectively are still a very good team. They are a very good team. You got Kyrie and AD, which is already a really good combo. You could argue that there was significant overlap between Kyrie and Luka. There's no overlap between Kyrie and AD. And just defensively, they're really, really fucking good. But the big thing is that with Luka, with the ball in his hands, just the amount of passing and everything that he opened up is just going to be missing, right? It's going to be missing. I think that with the Lakers, they're not a good team now, but they can quickly become one if they're willing to make some moves. I don't know if you need Austin Reeves now, but I haven't watched many Lakers games. I just think that with Luka and LeBron, you should just treat it as you've replaced Austin Reeves with Luka. And you can be that much. I think they need to start shoring up defense. That's my first thought, but I don't know. Lakers fans might disagree. I just don't think you need. I just don't think you need Austin Reeves at this point. Because then you've got 3 shot creators, ball handlers, just Luka likes really having the ball in his hands. Just let him do that as much as he wants, and then let LeBron take over whenever Luka's tired, and it's perfect because they both really love playing that role. They love playing that role. Just it's actually perfect. I think I just am curious on how it works when they're both. What happens in fourth quarters? How do they function both on the court at the same time? But just the fact that they both play the same way, yeah. I don't know if you need Austin Reeves, right? Reeves might be able to get them a good pick. I know they got another first-round pick they can trade. Reeves and Rui can put together decent draft packages. I personally feel like the Lakers can go for it this year. I think that they can go for it this year. They're what? They were already, with that shitty roster, they were already, they're a 5th seed. And the thing about 5th seed is that 5th seed is essentially the same as 4th seed. Their 5th seed, they're almost out of 5th seed. They could drop to 6th seed. But, they're in it. The Western Conference is all very close outside of the Thunder. They could really go for it this year. I think they want to still avoid playing the Nuggets. But if you can do that, then I think with Luka and LeBron and just a more solid roster around them, that actually covers their weaknesses. You don't need better players even necessarily, just players that cover the weaknesses that they have. I think with that Luka just does so much. Because here's the problem with AD LeBron. The problem is that LeBron's too old to be the primary offense all the time now, or even the majority of the time. So you got to lean on AD. AD is not built to be the primary offense for a team. He's just not that guy. He can do it somewhat inconsistently, but he's not that guy. You swap him for Luka, you've got a guy who's born to be the primary offense of a team. He can be a whole offensive engine. It's exactly what LeBron needs in his age. But you just got to cover their weaknesses a bit more now, right? Because they both have similar weaknesses. Yeah. I just think that if you can fit certain things around him, LeBron will be willing to go. He will be willing to he might know that this is his shot. I have a feeling. Raul says, here's another donor for an answer this time. Oh, shit. Hold on. I don't have an answer for you, man. I'm sorry. Can you do it? Marco Cadillo says, can you do a cartwheel on stream? No, I could do a cartwheel when I was younger. I just don't know what... I think LeBron would want... I feel like LeBron probably in his heart of hearts with seeing how difficult everything's becoming... I feel like he may no longer have believed that they could do it with that squad, especially because he knows how much of a burden he has to carry. Luka's the dude that will want to carry that burden. He loves playing with the whole system running through him. I feel like LeBron would view this as a godsend. There's even something interesting, which is there were JJ Redick and LeBron were both talking on their podcast during last year's playoffs about Luka and how much they appreciate his game. I'm sure they know how to make it all fit. I just feel they just need the pieces around him to fit a little bit tighter. And I feel like they could legitimately, if they clean up their roster a little bit, I feel like they could legitimately be a championship threat this year. Whereas before, I had to pretend and make believe land that they're a championship threat. All right, guys. All right. Braun, old ass mad as fuck. He got to play defense again. Yeah, losing AD on defense is just huge. But honestly, here's the thing. Here's one thing about LeBron with defense. Okay, consider this. LeBron has to carry so much offensive load normally that's where he doesn't playing defense is generally an effort thing. it's not really fit. Like, when you have the ball in your hands so much and do so much, it's not really fair to criticize a player for, like, I mean, it is fair, but, like, it's just different. It's not like they're not trying on defense. It's like they've literally only got so much gas in the tank that you can give each game. Like, players aren't, like, just robots, right? So LeBron has to, whatever energy he has, he has decided that it makes more, like, he's not making it, like, however much energy he has, he's devoting that to the thing that's going to get his team the best results, which is offense, right? So it's going to look like he's lazy on defense, but if you want him to play like 2013 LeBron on defense again, like that's, or even 2016 LeBron on defense again, that's not going to, then fine. Where's your fucking offense? Because he can't do both, right? With Luka, I think one thing that people are not considering is just that LeBron will not have as much responsibility. When LeBron tries to be a lockdown defender, he is still decent. I watched him defend fucking Kawhi. Like, I watched him fucking shut down Kawhi Leonard for a full half last year. Like, when LeBron actually chooses and locks in on that end to do so, right? The Olympics, he fucking, like, took on the Jokic challenge for a period of time. Because, like, when you need to lock in to do so, he will do so. It's just that normally they need the ball in his hands and they need him to be doing so much for the offense. With Luka, I would actually say that usage will go down a lot. He will have more energy to spare on defense. And when LeBron is trying on defense, he is still a very good defender. I would actually rate LeBron as, like, no longer likely. I think what we will see is that he will no longer be considered a weakness on defense. I think he will be a plus on defense. He's not Anthony Davis at this age, but I think he will actually be a good defender for the team. I think he's a defender you can chalk in. I might be jumping to too many conclusions, but I think you can chalk in right now. The Lakers already have a very good defender in LeBron James because he will try more now because he doesn't have to do as much on offense. Luka won't even want him to do as much on offense. Luka will want the ball. Marco Cadillo, thanks for the 2. Penalty cosplayers Shamrock and Erica Shanks, please. No. Remix King is asking if I check DMs. Let me see. Oh, the same day as Luka's birthday, who received joined the Lakers. Oh, the foreshadowing. That's funny. Because Luffy and his crew joined the Lakers for One Piece night on February 28th. That's interesting. That's funny. That's funny. Good timing. All right. I think we're all caught up. All right, guys. Are we all caught up? Braun doesn't do defense, LMAO. No, but he doesn't do defense because he doesn't do defense because he has to do so much on offense, right? Asking a 40-year-old man to lock in on defense is evil work. No, but it's a trade-off because he doesn't have to do as much on offense now. Asking him to do defense and offense before was a lot, but now it's defensive effort and offensive effort. It's relatively, like, it's the same as asking LeBron to, like, drive on certain possessions or something like that, right? Like, he's going to do that less and less, but, you know, now you're asking him to do that less, right? Like, his usage in terms of, like, how much you're asking of him offensively is going to go down. He will have more stamina and more effort to give on defense. It's just going to happen. I think you guys don't get it. Like, it's literally an effort thing, right? It's literally, like, I've watched LeBron for so long. He does so much on offense. The more he's doing on offense, the less he's going to do on defense. Now that he's old as fuck, he's just going to try on offense. He's not going to try on defense. But if you take away a lot of that offensive load, he still has the ability to be a good defender. He's going to have a lot more energy to spare now. I don't know. All right. Like, literally look at the Olympics. Like, true or false? True or false? Did LeBron try on defense in the Olympics in the games that mattered and do a good job? I watched LeBron play defense on fucking Nikola Jokic, the best offensive player on the NBA. It's not like he fucking, like, no one can lock Jokic down, but LeBron took that challenge and he did a decent job. Like, he will do that and he will still be an effective defender on pretty much anyone you put him on, as long as he's not fucking, like, gassed and tired and having to do so much for offense. Lual Iraq says LeBron is just lazy. He's 40 years old, still playing in the NBA against the best athletes in the world. He's not lazy. It's just, like, Humans aren't robots. LeBron has an insanely high usage rate. He has to do so much for the offense. He has to pull back somewhere. He's going to pull back on defense because that's why he has someone like Anthony. Like, other players are supposed to cover for him on that end. This is stupid. Like, players that score as much as LeBron, that have to handle the flow of the offense as much as LeBron, that always have, like, the majority of possessions run through them, they are not magically also going to be able to play defense as much as players who don't have any of those responsibilities. This is stupid. All right. Joseph Stanford says he didn't need to carry the load because he had stars on his team in the Olympics. Exactly what I'm saying. If you lessen the load on LeBron significantly, he will have effort that he can put on defense, and he's still got the athleticism to be really, really fucking good at it, and the experience, right? Luka is the dude that can be a one-man army, right? Anthony Davis was not. You ultimately could not just give the offense over to Anthony Davis or like Austin Reeves. Like, you could get good on certain nights, like results, but very inconsistent, right? Ultimately, LeBron still had to do a lot of the offensive management. You really don't need to do, like, he just needs to do that when Luka's taking his time off from now on. From now on, Luka gets to run the whole offense, and LeBron can be confident Luka runs the offense really well. It will be mostly in Luka's hands, presumably. So now LeBron basically gets to dictate the offense whenever it's like his turn, but it's not usually going to be his turn. Therefore, way more effort available on defense. Same exact thing as the Olympics. When you can rely on somebody else to do the offense for you, which LeBron normally can't, he can do so much more on defense. All right, guys. All right, we are going to call a stream here. They do need rim protection, I agree. We are going to call the stream here. It did go longer than I expected. Thank you all for tuning in. And yeah, I will talk to you all later.